Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to Bullshitting with Jesse and the Bunch. My name is Honcho Valley, aka Irk. To the left of me, you have the Lego Man,
Yo, yo.
Jesse himself. And to the right, we have our guest tonight. This
Yeah,
is
let you guys introduce
I'm Armand,
yourselves.
and this is.
Ariana.
All right. Armand, we're gonna start off and ask you a couple questions. So I know you moved away. How long ago was it that you moved away now?
2017. I broke away and went to Washington State to work on the national parks as a cook.
Bro, I am so fucking hype. You have no idea. You have no idea how hype I am. That I kept telling, like everyone that asked me about who I was like doing this with. Like, I was like, it's my boy that I ain't got to see in a while. I was like, he moved to Washington, the state, and then I'm pretty sure he's in Utah now. And I did not like. I just guessed because I was pretty sure that's what it was. And now I'm like, oh fuck yeah, I was right.
Hell yeah, hell yeah, yeah. So man, I did that, and I bounced all over. I worked in Wyoming. I've worked in Oregon. Kind of broke away from that. I did something called rockfall mitigation for about 9 months.
what is that?
Yeah, what?
Dude, it was the craziest shit I've ever done. So I get my buddy calls me up. Long story short, I got him kind of lined up with a job. He applied, hounded him, got the job. They were like, all right, he was in Illinois.
Yeah.
And they were like, if you make it to New Mexico by this day, you got a job. It was like $32 an hour to do whatever the hell they were doing. I get the job after jumping through some hoops, make it there. Show up with my gear, 5-point harness, all of my ascenders and stuff for climbing a rope.
Fuck.
Yeah. So I'm getting to what it is. And I show up, they pull us up to the trailer, hand us and everything. It's basically like, all right, I'm Josh, I'm your boss. Here's a rope. That's Taylor. He'll tell you what to do. Fucking 45 minutes later, we're hanging off of a 50-foot cliff.
Nope.
With a pry bar, fucking
Nope.
prying boulders off from the
Nope.
railways and stuff to keep them safe. My last gig with them, I was like about 100 feet in the air on a fucking JLG lift with the lift beneath us in a basket, prying boulders off that were coming like an inch or two away from the basket.
Yeah,
No,
fuck
I'm
that.
good.
What?
Yeah.
I'm good. 32 an hour, not worth
How
it.
long?
I
How
love
long
money,
did
but
you
no.
do that before you decided you enjoyed life way more?
Yeah, right. I was just
Bro,
about to
it
ask.
wasn't the work. I just didn't fit in with the culture there. Real rough blue collar guys.
Oh,
as
I
you
can
expect. They
imagine.
were,
Oh, yeah.
And me and my buddy, we were just the hippies living out of our car. I mean,
It's like the Western version of a
Yeah.
lumberjack.
I spent
The
10
fuck?
months living out of the back of a Subaru Forester that I built a bed platform in and everything. Like,
That actually
and
sounds
so
It was
I worked.
actually a pretty sweet setup.
Yeah,
That
it
actually
turned out
sounds-
pretty
that
cool.
actually
Dude, I
sounds
got
like
a
very
bitchin'
interesting.
system in it too. I got like a fucking JL
Oh,
audio
it
shallow
sounds
mounted at like 10
insane.
Rockford Fosgates all around it. It's fucking dope.
I'm
But
so happy. It sounds like you like left Uniontown and just
Found
found
life.
happiness.
yeah, I just got out of here and just took risks, man. Calculated risks, but I took them.
Yeah, that's so
Oh man,
fucking
as
awesome.
his girlfriend, having him be out on cliff faces was really scary.
Yeah.
Especially since I couldn't actually be there and I had no idea if he was going to be alive at the end of the day.
Bro, that
Yeah,
just-
that's. I mean, normally around here, it's like coal miners and people like that you say that about. But I mean, you got that fucking beat. Way
Yeah,
like
It's one of the most dangerous jobs in the world.
Yeah, it's
Even
like-
my buddy that got the job for me 2 or 3 weeks sooner took like a 2-ton boulder to the head.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Like, it was
man.
sandstone.
Is he still cool?
He's fine. Yeah, I mean he had a little bit of issues from it, but literally nothing major.
Yeah.
But it was a crazy occurrence. I guess they did some blasting on that wall and then had to go back to scale, and there was like a sheet of coal in the rock bed that might have like shifted and weakened the rock. Plus it was semi-wet like sandstone, and sandstone is super solid when it's dry, but once it gets wet, it's just mud.
Yeah, I mean, it's
brittle.
grainy as fuck.
It's literally sand compressed. And so I guess he was close to the bottom, and of course that's the most dangerous place to be. You're up top, you're fine. The further you get down, pull rocks down, you can pull all sorts of shit on you. Cactuses. A cactus goes through my pinky nail, like just stupid
that's
shit.
cringy.
Yeah, man. And so I guess the rock let loose and it hit his helmet, but what happened is it kind of like fell off the slough, came down and hit him, but rolled him back, and then just kind of fell to pieces and hit the ground. But it just like must have just moved him out of the way on his rope.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was bleeding, he was scraped up, and he had a stiff neck for a while, but otherwise unscathed. I mean,
Jesus.
there was a
fucked.
dude that we heard about that had worked with the company before. He was in a rock, rope must have caught something, pulled on it, pulled this basketball sized boulder down, fucking came off the face, cracked him in the face, just scrambled his fucking eggs. Like they had like 3 guys on a rope or something taking him down to the ground. He was seizing out and everything. Like, no, it gets,
yeah,
it gets
imagine
fucking
if it
nasty.
catches
I
you.
heard some crazy stories where people's lives should have been ended and they made it. Like,
Yeah, I
that's
imagine if
insane.
it catches you like square dead in the middle.
oh yeah,
yeah, you're
I
done.
mean, any rock of us, even this big,
Oh,
is
yeah,
coming
coming-
from a distance.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Daily phone calls are required.
absolutely.
Oh fuck!
Absolutely.
I'm calling. I gotta call every break. I'm like,
Yeah.
listen, this shit's
Like,
fucking
yeah,
insane.
I'm still here.
Every
but-
day
And that's
you're
You
gonna.
have to
like,
let me know that you're still alive,
That's
otherwise
base
I'm gonna be
level what
so
they
worried.
do. They have, so you see, you go through Cumberland and stuff, and all
Yeah.
the trim blasting they do to create
Yeah.
that wall, or they hang the netting. Well, they do all that. So they've got these wagon drills that they engineered. That's just a hydraulic drill on a wagon. They put some redheads or some points in the top to chain it to,
Mm.
and then they scoot this thing down the mountainside on wheels and angle the drill to drill in. And sometimes those
Fuck
points will
that.
break while you're
Oh,
on that drill and
yeah.
all sorts of stuff. They fly. I got a buddy that's still with them, and he's up in Alaska right now. Saw a picture. He's literally standing on a cable while they're bringing in the mesh on a helicopter, and they got to take it off the helicopter and hang it on the rock faces. Like,
Nope.
it's
Yeah.
so extreme.
As a carpenter, I used to walk. You're on a 2x6, 40, 50 foot high.
Yeah.
For a house, and you're walking the fucking trusses. Cranes bringing the trusses in, and you're holding the rope, and you're walking the trusses in. I used to do that shit without a harness on. Like,
Yeah.
fuck it, and like that was fucking intense.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine.
Being 500-600 feet
Yeah,
in the air.
yeah, on
Yeah,
a
nah.
cable.
Because sometimes you get dropped by the helicopter on top, and then you have different rappel points where you've got to like hang a different rope.
Yeah,
so you can
like
get all the way
nah,
up the
I'm
face.
cool on
Oh, I
that.
could
Nah.
never. I could never.
That shit just reminded me of that movie Fall. I don't know if you ever seen it.
Mm-mm.
It's like this chick and her friends, they like go on a camping. I'm gonna just show you the beginning of it. I'm not gonna tell you the whole story, but like they basically like do this like rock climbing thing, and like dude's rope or something happened. Like he just put it in the wrong angle, and
Oh, he gets just stuck.
bro, no, he didn't even get stuck. Like something happened. He slipped, dead,
Ooh.
Yeah.
instantly dead, dropped straight to the ground, like dead. I was
Imagine
like, yeah,
being
nah,
up on
cool.
that cable, and the fucking like the weather gets rough, and the helicopter gotta go.
Now you're stuck.
Yeah.
now
Nah,
you're stuck.
one of my
What's going
leads,
on, Murphy?
he's talking about being on the helicopter, and they're expert pilots. They get in, they got precision, but they're coming in. He's looking at the pilot, he's looking at his rope, he's looking at the pilot's looking at his rope, because I mean they're probably getting that blade pretty damn close
Yeah,
to that rope.
I'm
that
like,
he's
I will.
hanging on.
If
It's
you
just
leave
like,
me,
oh,
I will
shit.
kill you.
If you let me die, I will haunt you.
Yeah.
Y'all ever see that movie where the motherfuckers get stuck on the ski lift?
No. Uh-uh.
Oh yeah, the wolf. They're stuck on the ski lift, and I think they're stuck there for like the weekend because they closed.
Ooh.
And
Now I gotta look
wolves
this up.
show up, and like they're trying to fucking get down, but the fucking cable slices dude's hand open. He falls, breaks his legs. The wolves show up because they smell the blood. Like, oh, bro, yeah,
Oh
nah,
my
fuck that.
God.
fuck that. I ain't got time for it.
Oh man.
That sounds like it's got to be based on a true story.
I
Just-
think it was.
Yeah, just because you could not make a movie like that and get people interested if
No.
that was the only plot line.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, Cocaine Bear.
Yeah, but that was based on a true story.
It was, but
was.
still.
Right, yeah. Did you
Yeah.
see all the ridiculous ones that they're like trying to come out with
No,
now?
I
Oh
haven't.
yeah, there's so many, bro.
There's like a fucking cocaine crocodile.
Oh,
Yeah, or
man.
some shit like
so it's
that,
gonna be the
yeah.
next Sharknado.
Pretty
Yeah.
much, yeah. But those are the people who made Sharknado.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
he's
really?
I think
Yeah.
he's just doing this
Yeah.
shit.
That was only logical though. They snagged that one up.
I think he's just doing this
People
shit
said it
to
was great.
prove
I
he can
know a
make
couple
movies
people-
about anything.
Yeah. I know a couple of people. They're really heavy into the arts, and they were like, "I loved that movie." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah,
You
that
do
was
you.
like
You
not
do
like
you.
not like.
So how could
Placid,
you
but-
love that, but you didn't love LL Cool J and Deep Blue Sea?
Oh my,
Right,
this
like,
is
it was
great.
like, come
It's a
on.
classic. was a
Can we
classic.
talk about Samuel
It was
Jackson's
like my dad's
performance in that
second
too?
favorite shark movie next to Jaws.
I said
Jaws
you
will
ate
always be
my
up.
bird.
Believe it or not, I don't think
Nose
I've ever
beer
actually
bear.
seen Jaws.
We'll have to watch it sometime. So
That's
shit, yeah.
insane.
I mean, that all that stuff aside, I mean, I worked in California for about 4 months at a restaurant that, regrettably for me, anyhow, a year later went on to get their first Michelin star. I mean, I worked for a world class team there, and that was pretty cool. But it's California. The cost of living was crazy. I had no quality of life. You know, I could barely afford to drive my newer car that I one weekend picked up from um, Bend, where I had it stored in Oregon, and then was like, I can't do this. So I talked to my sous chef, and I was like, hey, what about Utah? What do you know going on out there? Do you know anybody renting a place? And she was like, actually, my cousin, he's moving out, because I knew she was from around there and had taught at one of the colleges. My cousin's moving out of my place at the end of the year. I'll give you a good price on the upper level of a house, big yard, everything. And I got on for Sundance Mountain Resort, and it was like fucking 23, 24 bucks an hour to cook food. And it was way more than I was making in California. And like, bet I'm there.
Yeah.
Like, I put in my notice and made it happen. And then, so now that I'm finally settled, you know, for the longest time, you know, I've fucking played in bands with my dad forever and have been around lighting and sound. I already had some gear laying around. I bought a little bit more for my dad. And then I was like, hey, fuck it, I'm going to start a business. Let's see what happened. But in hindsight, which, you know, is always 2020, I should have kind of planted myself, did some things, got connected, had a network, and then started the business. But I'm like, nah, I want to buy gear. I want toys.
Yeah.
So I got really obsessed with like learning the lighting software and learning how to run that and kind of building my product, because in the beginning of it, I just wanted to like, okay, I want to do rock star karaoke. I want to set up lights and fog and haze and make somebody for a night feel like a rock
Yeah.
star. And then I started getting involved with some other staffing companies there that crew for big shows and tours that come through. And then I was like, wait a minute, there's a possibility I might be able to do this for real. So right now I'm in limbo and trying to figure out exactly what direction I want to go. But I did start a company, Big Stage Karaoke and Lighting Design.
Yeah, I seen you did that
you can
show
look
at
us up on
Smitty's.
Facebook. Yeah, I set up at Smitty's and brought my console. I built a custom console with MIDI controllers and touch screens and a MIDI PC
Oh, that's dope.
inside.
Yeah.
And
It's really
I can,
impressive. I watched
you
him
know,
build that entire thing from
yeah,
the
I
very
threw it in a
beginning.
DJ case.
That's dope as hell.
Oh, that's
Um,
sick.
I got outs right on the back, and I mean, it's pro as fuck. I have 15 minutes and my PC set up, and I
It
can
looks
plug
very
into the rig.
clean.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm learning like Chauvet Show Express, and I'm working with some slowly getting into some bigger things, industry stuff like Grand MA2 and 3 and Hog 4. But it's a lot because it's very technical, you know. The what you're trying to do is relatively simple if you understand how the language of the console you're working with, but knowing exactly how to tell the console what to do could be difficult, and the complexity of it is crazy. You look at these EDM festivals and what they do with time code and all this stuff. It's like, what the fuck? How do you sit down and do that? You know, but yeah, it's just been interesting. Kind of the point, I just need to get out of my own way and start to promote it and have some confidence. And this weekend really helped with that, because all these ideas in my head and how do I do this smoothly? And I'm finally, at least with the one software I'm using, able to set it up in a way that I can run it, even just busking a band, basically showing up and running a house rig with no knowledge of the music. And that's exactly what the weekend was. I knew they were outlaw country. I listened to a handful of their songs coming in, and then just ran the show on the fly with all the cues.
Yeah, I was gonna say, a lot of the times you can fool around with stuff and learn and mess around, and even do like demo live shows or or whatever.
Yeah, well, with that you can set up a 3D visualizer, and that's what I did. You build a 3D visualizer and you can sit there and watch what the lights are supposed to be doing. So when you show up, you got 80% of the file built. You do focus and you move things around.
But whenever you get put in a real life situation, like
that's where
you went through this weekend, that's when you start to learn shit, because you're like, I don't know what the fuck they're using. I don't know. And
Yeah.
and now I just gotta go.
And you got it. And that's where I'm at now. Like, I have enough of a foundation that I need a mentor. I need somebody who's going to get me out into the venues, get me behind a console, teach me what's going on, and
Yeah.
then, see where it goes from there. But until I'm to that point, or somebody's giving me that opportunity to take my own lighting rig out and light, small bands and weddings or whatever I'm doing, I'm kind of stuck. So, like I said, it
How
just comes
hard is
down.
it to haul that shit? Like all of
Yeah,
your
I was
setup.
gonna ask.
All of my stuff isn't hard. But the console itself, if somebody just wanted me to run their club lighting and
Mhm.
had it all patched and stuff and could give me the information I needed, I just show up on my console. If they don't have a house console, I just learn what theirs is.
Well,
And
we like to do uh like actual shows sometimes up in the main lobby.
okay.
And if it's not too hard, maybe one time that you're coming this way for a visit or something, bring some of your shit and
Yeah,
I'll make sure to
or I
plan a
mean,
show the same
something I've
time.
done for a couple clients too is all you really need is the dongle. And hell, it's just sitting in a box. You could probably rent it from my dad or whatever. He has one. So, sorry, Dad. I don't know if you're into that, but I'm putting you out there. Stop letting your shit sit around. Make money on it. So anyway, yeah, you just need the interface that goes from the DMX or from the computer and outputs DMX, and then I can build timelines for you. I can build, like, you give me an audio file and you tell me what lights you have or you're going to rent or whatever it is, and then I can just build you a pre-programmed thing as long as your performers to like a click track, or even I could use the actual backing track that you're going to run through the PA.
He's already
then
done that.
Yeah, I've
But,
done
like-
it for a dance competition that tours out of Florida, but
Mhm.
I've seen they go as far as like Denver and stuff. So I've done it a few times. I've done it for myself too. So
That's
that's
dope as
something you're
hell.
interested in. I'm
I
totally down to help you
guarantee
with that.
I guarantee my wife has probably watched something that you did the lighting to then. When it comes to dance,
It's Shake the Ground Nationals is who I've worked with.
yeah,
So I don't know.
I don't know any of her inner workings.
Yeah.
We should
but I
ask
You got
know
your own
that
separate lives.
yeah,
That's
she
nice.
she's into dance. She danced, her sister danced, like they were a big dance family. We're trying to get our daughter into it, but she's been leaning more towards either gymnastics or soccer. We don't know yet.
All right. Cool. Yeah. So I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at with things now. Now I'm just living life and enjoying it and making things happen when I can. But I think it's probably time for you to tell your story since
Well,
I
I
got
was gonna
everybody caught up
say,
on mine.
at what point during your journey did you end up meeting her, and how did that all come about?
So, okay, that's a good transition into that then. So, 2018, 2018, I was working at Lake Crescent Lodge, and Tyler Cooley, he had met some people in Wyoming while he was there over the winter. Well, he brought them along, and that happened to be her sister, and rest in peace, her boyfriend at the time, Joel. And so I had met her briefly, and then kind of went on her way. And then fast forward to 2019, early 2020. Well, she moves up to Wyoming to work there where I am. So we literally lived together before we even dated, and then went right into living together seasonally, then went 9 months, 10 months away from each other. And now we kind of live together again. So we've had a crazy ride on it, but I don't know, we started hanging out, and she does art. She's working on her own Etsy and stuff, but she does hand-drawn mandalas, and they're amazing. I wish we would have brought
That's
some
fine.
prints or something so we could put them up to the camera.
Oh
but,
yeah, that sounds
not
awesome.
prepared.
yeah, we weren't prepared for that end of things. But so we started talking art and drawing together and hanging out and sauna sessions together up at the resort and just chilling, and just kind of developed. And at one point, this story came up. I'm sorry, I'm going to put you out here, but she was like, one of my favorite memories ever, because you can imagine from her background and stuff, weed and things like that are incredibly taboo. And so she's like, in Washington it was legal, so we were just
Yeah.
fucking smoking all the time everywhere we could. plus we like it was on the national park. Like Lake Crescent was literally my backyard. I could walk out of housing and be at the lake in 2 minutes.
Oh hell
Oh, yeah,
yeah!
that's
Why
So
wouldn't
it
you
was
just sit and
awesome.
smoke?
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, it's a great place to do it. So we're all out kicking hacky sack or whatever, and she's like, I have this memory of like this like guy, and she's like, I think he was like dark complected and this and that, and was like, we're all out playing hacky sack or doing whatever, and he just like pulls out a bowl and starts passing it around. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, I remember that day. And I don't remember anybody that quite fits that description. And I was like, I think that was me. And so I went to work later that day, and Joel was working, and I asked him about it. He's like, absolutely 100%. He's like, I remember that day vividly. That was
you hitting
100%
Was you hitting the self tanner?
No. I guess I spent a bunch of days at the lake or something. Maybe I was darker than I thought I was at the time. But yeah, so we kind of had ties from before, and then
we kind of just made that connection.
kind of hit it off, and then so we left. Mind you, this is 2019, early
2020.
2020. So
right before COVID
yeah,
hit.
the before times, the just
The
before
before
times.
Did you ever think? Sorry to interrupt, but
Go ahead.
I gotta know real quick. Did you ever think that like being here, and you know how it is, bro? Being here, you kind of get stuck here.
Yeah.
It's like a serious cesspool in some ways. Sorry, everybody. I love
Yeah,
y'all,
no, it's
but
been trying to
love
pull
y'all,
me back.
you
I've been
know.
flirting with the idea of staying here sometime this week. I'm
Don't.
like, no.
I was
Don't.
trying to
Thank you.
convince
I
him
need to
not
hear
Do
that.
not. Don't.
Nobody's been telling me that.
Don't.
yeah,
I
yeah,
will.
You've gotten out.
As a
you need to
friend,
stay
I will
out.
tell you, stay away.
But did you ever
Return
think
the slab.
when you were
back
here
to
growing
Utah.
up and everything that you would find the love of your life
Hell no.
in
I never
another
thought I was gonna
state?
leave. You
Wait,
get trapped
yeah.
here. Okay, so here's the issue I've observed with this town and just this region is that it's not very diverse. There's not a whole lot of culture, and there's not a lot of
At
things
all.
going on, man. So
You only get enough
start-
opportunity to survive.
Exactly. That's a big point too. And then you get in this headspace. Well, what the fuck? If the entire world is like this, why leave? Why go feel this way somewhere else? But if you do manage to break away and you do manage to make good choices and get away from the toxic nature of here, because a lot of people
Amen.
have an issue, they get out and then they fall back into the same habits or find the same types of people because that's what they're comfortable
Yeah.
with.
And then they
it's
have
the
to move
same
back.
Fucking thing. It's no different. They're doing the same Uniontown bullshit somewhere else in the country, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And so, yeah, that was a big thing is like getting out and realizing that, wow, people are
The world
actually
really
nice.
is
They're
way
happy. They're
bigger.
enjoying life. They're
Right.
active. They have hobbies that aren't, a detriment to their health,
Very
to put
true.
it kindly. And so, yeah, I know. I would have to answer your question though directly. I had never thought
Oh,
thought
shit.
that because we were leaving and we were driving to go to Utah because our plan.
Daddy Dave joins us.
Dave, that guy.
Nice. So we're heading to Utah. Literally, okay, live together, start dating. We weren't technically official until we were on the drive to her family's house. Then we officiated.
We're
And
just
then
like,
I'm
"What
going to
are
meet the
we?"
family and stay in their living room for the night because we were then going up to Washington, but we were driving right into the pandemic and it was a meme. It was a joke. Nobody knew anything about it up on the hill. We get down into the valleys and we're like, oh my God, this is fucking serious. Like this is like apocalyptic level stuff going on right now. What the
Yeah.
hell? Stores are, shelves are empty. Everybody's in a panic. Nobody knows what's going on.
Right.
So, to add to the fact we had a very unconventional relationship from the start, that's kind of what kicked it off. And then so from there, we bounced all around. I mean, we went up to Washington. We spent a little bit of time there. Our dude Lonnie and Michelle hooked us up with a place to stay for a few weeks. And after a while, they were like, hey, we're kind of feeling like a guest in our own home. What's your plan? And I'm like, oh, that's embarrassing. I didn't even think about that. Like,
Yeah.
I thought we were just going to kick it here until we went on to go back to the lake. And they were like, yeah, what? So we spent 3 weeks at a campsite and then we drove back down
Quite
to
literally
Utah. And then we
homeless.
spent a couple weeks there and then drove back to do our season at Lake Crescent. So yeah, that's everything in a nutshell. I mean, there's,
A
there's
lot
finer,
more.
there's finer details to everything, but
But that's the gist of it.
so
It's
That's
been a crazy
beautiful, though.
ride.
Yeah, so where it all started was, at what point did you meet her and everything? So Now, tell us a little bit about yourself, because I know we got a wild ride.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Lord.
So my name is Ariana, and I was born and raised into a polygamist community, which, in case you don't know what that is, polygamy is basically where a man has more than one wife and a massive family. That's like the general outline of what a polygamist family is. And my dad currently has three wives. In total, he has had five.
Damn.
Yeah. And I haven't been in contact with my dad in about 2 years.
Yeah, at least 2 years. It might have been more by now.
Yeah, in about 2 years. I'm not going to get into the whole reason as to why, but like my dad has put me through some shit.
Yeah, as I say, it
Just,
already seems like there's more
I
than
feel
enough
it,
reasons as
oh,
to
yeah,
why.
yeah, like just everything. My dad's just a terrible person, ultimately. And, but, yeah, like growing up in a polygamist community, we lived a very sheltered life. Like we didn't know anything outside of what we knew. We knew what was exposed to us, which was
Right.
very little.
Yeah,
Which
very
was
need to know basis.
yeah, like we weren't allowed to have like our own phones. We weren't allowed to really have our own computers. Very limited TV. Like we weren't allowed to watch any of like American Dad, Family Guy, The Simpsons, South Park. None of those. We were
Yeah,
pretty
Boo.
all the
limited.
greats.
We
All
were
the
pretty
good shit.
limited
How are you ever
to.
supposed to be cultured?
Right, right. Like,
Real
We were
quick,
limited to like Sesame Street and stuff.
real quick, at what point did
Nothing against
you
Sesame
finally
Street, guys.
start getting exposed to like the quote unquote real world?
So when I think I was 11 years old, and I remember this very clearly because this was the day that changed my life. I didn't know it, but it was such a monumental moment in my life that I remember incredibly vividly that my mom left my dad, packed everything that she could in the car, grabbed us all, like me and my three other siblings, just threw us in the car. And she was just like, oh, we're going to go and stay with your aunt for a few days. And just no goodbyes, no nothing, just left, went and stayed with my aunt. And then I went to school the next day and we went on a field trip. My mom came and actually picked me up from where we went at that field trip. And she's just like, okay, we're going to go and stay with some people up in Salt Lake for a while. And I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know where we were going. All I
right.
knew was that we were going somewhere. We
So
were
you
going to be
didn't
staying
have
with
a
these
smooth
people.
transition into a lifestyle.
Yeah.
It was
No,
like
we
you're
were
here, now you're here.
we
Yeah,
were
like you
thrown
have
into
to
it. We
go.
went
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
this lifestyle to suddenly
This
Yeah,
big
very,
this
open world.
very
lifestyle.
chaotic.
Yeah, that's
This
yeah, that sounds
lifestyle.
scary.
And it was actually really funny because my mom had been trying to get the guts to leave my dad for a long time. Like there was this billboard along the freeway in Salt Lake that they passed every time they drove through. That was just like, I don't know what it actually said, but it said something along the lines of, do you need help getting out of a certain situation? Do you need somewhere to stay? Call this number. Obviously, it was much more discreet, but
Yeah.
that's the gist of it. Every time they passed that billboard, my mom read the phone number and memorized it. And when she finally just put her foot down, had enough, she called that number and they set us up with these people up in like the Salt Lake area. And they were who we were going to be staying with for, I want to say, like the next year of our life, maybe year and a half. I'm not entirely positive for how long we were staying with them, but I remember meeting these people, and this family is actually an incredibly important family. They started an incredible company, but I will get to that in a minute. Um, the very first memory that I have meeting this family, the wife Tanya Toole, which I'm not afraid to put her name out there because she's already an incredibly influential woman and her husband were standing out on the driveway just waiting for us. They welcome us in. Obviously they give us our space because of
Yeah, it's a
It
big
was a very
transition.
Yeah,
traumatic experience.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
And as
so
kids, you have no idea what's going
Right.
on.
oh yeah, no, we were so confused. And they take us inside, introduce us to their kids. They were sitting there eating ice cream, you know, invited us to have some. I think we were too shy to accept. We're just like, we don't know what's going on.
What is ice cream?
So they kind of set us up in the basement. They had this, my mom had her own room. We had our rooms with our bunk beds. We had our own living space. We had our own kitchen. It was basically like an apartment in the basement.
Oh,
It
that's
was
dope.
really nice. And that's where we were for however long we were there for. And it was then that it was like really able to see what the world really is.
Right.
Like, I don't know how much you know about the regular Mormon culture. Do you know about the undergarments that they have to wear?
No, I don't
I don't know
know.
anything
No.
about
So
it.
in
anything.
a regular Mormon culture, they have to wear just these undergarments. Um, I'm not entirely positive what they're for, but I know that they have to wear them. The regular Mormon undergarments are just like regular like straps, for the women. It just goes down to a little below the knee, and you can't expose them. Like, you can't let
Yeah,
anyone
it's to keep
see
from
them.
skin being revealed.
Yeah.
Which is why most Mormon people wear like the long sleeves or something, or like they don't ever go to like shorts
Yeah.
or anything. That's the main reason why. Well, in a Mormon or in a polygamous community, they have these much longer garments that go from your neck to your wrists to your ankles. Exact same principle.
Think of your like stereotypical like pilgrim garb.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
that's literally what they wear. If you
Hey.
go into certain areas of Utah, and it seems like there's a higher concentration in central and southern
Mhm.
Utah, you'll see full families in a minivan pull up, and they all get out in this attire. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
insane.
yeah, but yeah, that's one of the reasons why if you see any polygamists on TV or anything, it's the reason why they're always wearing long sleeve clothing, because they're not allowed to let anyone else other than their significant other see these garments. And
That's crazy.
they
That's
train
insane.
us from a young age to start wearing longer clothing so that when we get married and we receive our garments, we're comfortable with those, right? So I wasn't yet to the point of constantly having to wear like long pants and like long sleeve shirts and stuff, but simply going to like short shorts and tank tops, I felt naked
Yeah.
because I had never worn anything so revealing. And it was very strange
She
see.
to
I
said,
could.
"Where's
I
the
could.
turtleneck at?"
So why is it? Why do I see my arms? But yeah, no, I can understand how that would be like a huge transitioning from like having to like basically being told what to wear like a majority of your life, then
Yeah, but
finally
that
being able to
seems
be
like
free. You know.
that seems like that's the smallest part of it all.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
that's
It
definitely the
is.
absolutely.
smallest
Yeah,
part
no,
of
that
it.
was
Well,
literally only the
Since you're kind
beginning.
of on that timeline of meeting Tanya and everything, why don't you tell them a little more about
Yes.
what your mother actually had to go through to stay away from the church,
Yeah.
and some of the measures they were taking to try to find her.
Okay, yeah. So my mom had to, we literally had to be in hiding from the church because, in the church's eyes, if you leave that community,
Mm.
you are damned to hell, which means
Oh wow.
that my, everyone in that community hates my mom and thinks that she is going to hell.
Oh shit.
Like, and so she had to go into hiding, which is one of the reasons that she reached out to this woman, and this woman let us stay in her basement. And we didn't have any contact with my dad at all for at least 6 months, at least 6 months. And even when we were finally able to actually talk to him again, he wasn't allowed to know where we were. But here's the thing, and I only found this out relatively recently, was and this kind of shows what kind of a person my dad is.
Yeah.
My dad, apparently, I don't know how, found out where we were and had contacted Tanya and said, if you just basically kick them out onto the street, if you just drop them, then I will do what I can to make sure that you're as successful as you want to be. He was essentially blackmailing her.
Right.
And Tanya, being the absolutely amazing, incredible woman that she is, said, absolutely no way in hell. Like, I'm not doing that. And they kept that enough of a secret that, like I said, I only just recently found out about that because I had met up with Tanya probably around a year ago now, I want to say. And while I was talking to her, that was one of the things that she brought up. And I was genuinely shocked because I had no idea that that had even happened.
It's crazy that there's like this I don't really know how else to put it, for lack of comparison, kind of like Underground Railroad situation that's
Yeah,
still
yeah,
going on, but instead of
Yeah,
like
just to escape
slaves,
that.
It's
instead of
yeah.
slaves, it's like these wives that don't want, you know what I mean, are in this situation that they don't want to be in.
Actually,
It's like that's crazy that people wouldn't need. A lot of people think that like shit like
Well,
that
they get so sheltered
doesn't
from,
go
like
on.
she's saying, where they, they get brainwashed,
yeah.
and they get that they use fear to keep them away, and then they're encouraged to say that they love the community and what they do, and they're doing it for God and everything, and they feel great about it, but they're just so sheltered
Yeah,
from
they're
everything.
terrified.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
incredibly sad.
they don't even have fear because they don't even know.
It's just
They
like,
don't
Yeah.
know differently.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's incredibly sad. The my dad's first wife is just the sweetest woman.
Yeah, she's a
I
great
I
person.
love her to death. But it's all she has known. She was
Mm.
born and raised into it and then married into it. She has known
Yeah.
absolutely nothing else.
So she's never
Yeah,
got to
so
see
to
the
her
life.
that
Yeah,
is
she's
absolute.
that is the life. She doesn't know that there's anything else out there. That is her life.
Like, so
And when
she's
my
never.
mom left, she really wanted to take Bonnie with us. But
The scary thing is even saying something to her because she's born into that life and so about that life, she
She
might
might,
end up turning
yeah.
around and telling him that
Yeah.
you're
exactly.
planning it,
Exactly. My
And then
mom
Yep.
you
was
can't
y'all
even
just
try to
genuinely
help
stop.
someone else
Yeah.
out.
my mom
Nope,
didn't
they'll
think that
drag
she
you
was
right
going to
back.
stay. She was going to take her with her and then she was going to go right back.
And
Yeah.
in that case, that would have outed you guys, and that would have,
Mhm.
That would have messed up
Everything.
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 Yeah, because
Everything.
she would have been scared, trying to get away, completely unsure of what she was going to do. They would have been trying to pull the same stuff to
Could
bring
be.
her down that they were
Mhm.
trying to do you. Now they have a direct line to where you were. Like,
Yeah.
that could have been real ugly if that would have even been attempted.
And that's such a like it's a rough and sad situation and scary situation to be in, to where like you see these other people that are in the same situation as you, and you know that you like have a potential final out, and it's like I can't even try to bring you with me because if
Right.
I do, you gonna bring the whole ship down.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you seem like you've had some experience with that, starting your business and some
Yeah.
of your colleagues and everything. It's crazy, right?
Yeah,
It's just life, man.
It
But at the
is.
same time, it's just like,
but it's wild to think
yeah.
like that's on a almost, if you really want to think about it, that's like on a whole life threatening level.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
You
Yeah,
know what
no,
I
it
mean?
was
they have the power to ruin somebody's
Oh,
entire
yeah.
world.
it's honestly
Yeah.
really scary. It was I didn't know it at the time, but it was a genuinely really scary situation.
Oh yeah,
to be
until
in.
you're older and you actually like are able to comprehend what the hell all that was. In the
Mhm.
moment you're young, you're a kid, all you know is like, well shit, we're going here, and then we're
Yeah,
going there, and
exactly.
well now I guess I live here for a while, and you don't know the realistic idea of what is going on?
No, yeah, I didn't know anything until later, until it had actually been explained to me.
I would
Like,
say you
this is
know a lot of the details about it until probably the last 3 or 4 years. A
Yeah,
lot
and
of
then it's
things have
like,
come to light even since we've
oh
been
then
here.
yeah,
it's like
and
hindsight.
even then,
Holy
That's
shit!
even
yeah.
What did
then,
I
there's a
deal with?
lot that I don't know about. There's a lot that I don't know about that my siblings know about, because my dad did a lot to my mom, a lot to my mom, and she doesn't want to tell us unless we are ready to accept that information.
Yeah.
But
There might be things I know that she doesn't just from talking to Joel back when.
Yeah,
You
maybe,
know,
and I
maybe,
imagine that like she had to have suffered a lot and dealt with a lot,
oh, my
considering like
mom
out
is,
of all
I
of
mean,
them,
she's a
she's the
tank. I
one
mean,
that
she was putting herself through school and pursuing, I think, a master's degree
yeah,
while she was living in
yeah.
secrecy and trying to do them. She's an incredibly successful
Yeah, and to
woman
Oh
think
yeah,
that
that's
by
she was
now.
crazy.
the one that had the courage to like finally up and leave, like
hmm
either tells me she has an amazing willpower, which sounds like also the case, but she must have been dealing with a lot in
Yeah.
order to
oh,
finally be like, I see all these other ones that are happy, but I can't do it no more.
oh
You know what
man,
I
my
mean?
mom is. I thought about this relatively recently because someone asked me who my hero was, and I'm like, I don't know. And then I sat down and I thought about it, and I'm like, my mom is my hero.
Yeah, after
Right.
like knowing all the final details, well, not all of them, but you know what I mean, like
Yeah,
you're grown enough to comprehend what the situation was. It's like, oh holy shit, like she really went through some
And
shit,
she's a
like,
trooper.
and
yeah, my
she's
mom is
still out here not only doing her
incredible.
thing but succeeding and
Doing even
excelling.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And you mentioned the Underground Railway a few minutes ago, and I think that's a really great way to bring up the company that Tanya started while we were living with her.
Yeah, they were the founding family of this
Yes,
this
yes, and
organization,
I
and
am
I
Yeah.
don't have
incredibly proud
numbers
of
on
it.
it, but they've helped
Oh,
tremendous amount more since then.
oh my God, I'm
That's amazing.
incredibly proud of it, and I am about to go the fuck off about this amazing company because I always do. And just, okay. So while we were staying with Tanya and her family, Tanya realized that she really loved helping pull people out of tough situations, giving them a place to stay, getting them up on their feet, helping them figure out what they need to do to get their life back, essentially. So she, after my family left and we got our own house and everything, we had started doing our own thing, and it was really great. She didn't stop taking in families. She continued bringing in other polygamous
Mm.
families and helping them do the exact same thing that we did. And she kept doing that, and then she met people that wanted to do the same thing that she was doing. And eventually she just got this group of people that were willing to get together, help these people get back on their feet. And it has grown into this massive organization called Holding Out Help. And there is a website that you can go to. It's holdingouthelp.org, where you can read all of their information. But yeah, they've got headquarters now. They've got all of these
They have a
different,
network of counselors and
yeah,
things
they've got
like
a
that to
network
help
of
people with.
counselors. They
Definitely shout out
recently
to
opened up a
definitely shout out to
home
them.
for women and men, um where they can stay until they are able to get their own place, get their GED if they don't have their high school
Yeah,
diploma.
I actually have some questions about
Oh,
the
yes,
whole
sir.
process. Well, actually, before, are her levels coming through all right? I know she's kind of turned and talking
Yeah,
a
I mean,
bit.
I can hear
Yeah, I
her.
can
Okay,
hear.
cool.
So
I couldn't tell how much it was just bleed over, but so they're holding out help. That they're not only just to help sister wives leave the church, right? By now
Oh
they're
no, they help whoever
okay.
wants to
So
leave,
if you're
whoever, men,
struggling with
women,
anything,
children.
finances or addictions
Uh-huh.
or spousal issues or whatever, they'll, I mean, as the name implies, they'll help you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
definitely
no,
That's
cool.
cool.
absolutely.
See,
It's
I didn't really
super
know
cool.
that.
it's super fascinating. They've got a whole bunch of different resources that you can use.
So
And
it's not just like strictly like polygamous families and stuff.
it's not, I feel like at this point it's branched out enough that other people have started reaching out to them. That's what it started as.
Yeah.
That's what it started as. And I'm not as involved with holding a help as I would like to be, but I have told Tanya multiple times that I am not afraid to put myself out there, because there are other people out there that have been in a relatively similar situation as me. And no one, unless I tell them,
We appreciate you, Dave.
knows. No one knows where I have come from. So I want people to know, with a similar background as me, that there is hope. That even if you have been born and raised into a situation like this, that you can be a normal person. You can get your life back on track. You can do exactly what you want to do. You can be who you want to be. You don't have to let this control your life.
Yeah, whatever the situation may be, whether it's something
Yeah.
similar to yours, or
Yeah.
like I said, if you're facing, addiction or other traumatic experiences and things that make you feel like you might not be worthy of something. Anybody is,
Yeah.
Yeah, so if at some point Tanya would want me to go to something and get up and talk about my experiences and just inspire people, I would be more than willing to do that. Because like I said, I want people to know that there is hope, that things are going to be okay.
Right.
That's not the end of the road. Just keep moving forward,
Right.
you know?
We definitely should try to I'll do whatever I can to help you guys start getting you maybe on some like what the hell are those called? Uh like seminar type shit.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Give some kind of platform for it. And like
Yeah.
we talked about, before the podcast is, well, I've got the gear and stuff. We can totally start doing our own thing, maybe even collab remotely or whatever. I mean, there's, and as things kind of develop and you can talk more about it, and even as you know more,
Oh,
then
yeah.
that
Yeah.
might dig up some things that might be a little hard to deal with, but bring on a whole new flood of memories and experiences to share from the child's perspective.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that
And
would
I
be great,
can.
and I really appreciate you, bringing us on and letting her have
Oh,
a
most
Oh,
platform to
definitely.
share
yeah.
this.
Most definitely. We don't
Yeah.
often get the chance to do a lot of female interviews.
Okay.
I don't know why. You're actually our
It's a cool spot. This is a weird
Second?
you're our
basement, man.
third.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm your third.
Yeah, you're our
Oh.
third female person for an interview, and I'm so thankful because I even had, like I said, I had a couple people that like was asking who I was doing tonight and everything, and as soon as like I told you earlier, there are some people that are really interested in hearing this because, like I said, you only see one side of it
Yeah.
from the media,
Hmm.
little bit of coverage that there is, and a lot of people are like, well, fuck yeah, I'm interested in like the inner workings because
Yeah.
you
For sure.
never fully understand the dark side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every big
And
anything, whether it be a big religion, a big corporation, whatever, there's always
there's
that dark
something.
side, and
There's always.
sometimes a little bit of shit will trickle out into the light, and it'll just give the people just enough to question
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
what
maybe
what up with
maybe
that,
there
what up
is
with this.
more.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
there is more. Like the only thing that outsiders are allowed to see are the good. They're not allowed to see
Yeah,
the
and
bad things that
you
go
see that in
on.
media. I
Right.
mean, by now the whole South Park episode and everything, and even their musical based on that, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure is even endorsed by the Mormon Church. It's like, yeah, that's pretty much the story. Like,
Yeah.
you guys nailed it. Like, thanks for strengthening the religion by putting it out there. And from the outside looking in, even the non-polygamist families, which your average Mormon is against, it's a very like
Oh yeah,
taboo
no.
thing even to them.
I remember when I was younger, I would tell Mormon people, like my Mormon teachers, that the polygamist religion is like extreme Mormonism, which is exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. And a lot of people are willing to fight me on that, especially people that are in the Mormon religion, because they don't want to be associated with something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Because like when I told people, when I told those teachers, they're just like, "Oh no, it's not." Like, I am so offended that you would even like compare the two.
But it is happening, and
Yeah,
it is
'cause-
being taught that way.
Because it
you
is
know?
the real thing. They're just more worried about their image on it.
Yeah, because they know that it's gonna hurt.
But yeah,
Yeah.
power of the church.
ultimately, the polygamist religion believes the exact same thing as the Mormons do, just to a much more extreme extent.
Yeah, and it's really, I'm pretty sure the writings are somewhere in there. It's almost like, Judaism in the Old Testament versus Christianity in the New Testament. There's a lot of things that have bled over into the new
Dude,
scriptures.
I have,
and
I've read a lot into like multiple different religions that are not so much like Mormons and shit like that,
Mhm.
but like Christianity, Catholic, Judaism, like shit like that, just because of the whole Jesus thing.
Yeah. Well, it's an extension of that. It's actually funny. We haven't had, despite living right next to a church, have not had many missionaries come to our door.
It's very strange.
Yeah, we had an
actually.
older gentleman behind us come by, and he seemed like he was just introducing himself in the neighborhood, but he did make his plug a little bit. And then we had two younger kids come by. One that very well could have been of like Indian or Middle Eastern descent, and then there's just this white kid. And they're sitting there and they're telling us about it. And he was like really nervous about his delivery. And, a kid was maybe 17 years old. And and I'm sitting there and I'm listening to it and I'm giving him his time. I wasn't being disrespectful. And he was just like, so how like the New Testament is kind of like the Bible for people of that region, that part of the world. Well, this is the new teachings of Jesus that he brought us here in America, and it's for this area of
so
the
he
world.
was
And I
just
just want to look at
traveling
him and go, it's
around.
like, so it's white people Jesus.
Okay.
That's what it is. It's white people
Okay.
Jesus. Like, all right, Brandon.
Bro. All right,
That's a little
so
fucked up.
my dermatologist, first off, I respect their hustle. I respect someone trying to some extent. To some extent, I respect people's hustle on like trying to push their religion if it's not overstepping boundaries.
Yeah.
And my dermatologist, bro, smooth criminal with this shit, bro.
Yeah.
So the first time, I didn't think really too much of it. I was like, okay, whatever. The second time though, I'm in there, and I told him, I was like, bro, thank you. Like, the shit that I had going on, I was like, it's cleared up. Like, I feel amazing now. Like you healed me. I was like, you like to that
Here it
extent. And he's,
comes.
bro, smooth criminal. He said, we just do the work of the Lord. We thank him for the healing. I was like, oh shit, man, you threw it in there too.
Like,
Yeah.
wow.
You set yourself up for that one.
Yeah, to
Yeah,
a
like,
certain
you
extent,
plugging
you
it
do
in
have
there.
to appreciate the hustle of the
Yeah.
Mormon missionaries.
Yeah, it's like he's not out here to like shove it down my throat, but he gonna push it in there a little bit somewhere where he
Just
can.
smear it on your face at least, right? As a
Yeah.
dermatologist.
That's funny, actually.
And I always wonder, like, whenever I go into or meet anybody that's religious, because as you know, growing up around here, tattoos equals Satan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. In the polygamous culture, you're not allowed to like have tattoos. You're not allowed to get piercings. You're not allowed to cut your hair because your body is a temple, and you're
Yeah.
not allowed to do
Yeah.
anything.
And like
to
I
That's
may
insane.
not be the average good guy appearance. And I've had a stint of I'm not that great of a person.
Haven't we all?
Yeah, I'm not gonna act like I'm
You got to work
perfect.
through that.
But I'm a pretty good fucking dude, and I work my ass off, and I try to figure shit out whenever I have to.
Right.
And I'll show up to a job site or whatever, and it's like people are like, "Oh, he's such a nice guy," and I'm so happy you guys showed up. Blah blah. Blah. And I throat tattoo, face tattoo,
just
you know what I
covered.
mean?
Yeah.
But when you first walk into an area and there's a religious person, it's instantly like, all right,
You feel that heat.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
already
they're
know.
like they're staring you down.
depending
Oh,
on the
yeah.
scenario, you're gonna be cordial with me, but you trying to like fucking holy water the fuck out of me right
Yeah.
now, and I ain't even do nothing to you, lady.
Oh my god. Yeah, my mom was a fucking rebel while we were still in the group because you know how I said we weren't really allowed to cut our hair? My mom kept my hair to my chin for the duration of my childhood. I had just a straight up bob. So like
That's
that was
rough.
my mom's way of rebelling, being like, "Fuck you guys, I can do
Yeah.
whatever the hell
I like
want
how
with
she
my
didn't
daughter's
cut her
hair."
own hair. She
Yeah,
took
I
one of her
can't do
children
much.
to
She's like, you
I
know
sacrifice.
what?
can't do
I'll
much,
catch
but
you.
this bitch is getting a bob for the next 5 years.
And
Fuck
then as
it.
soon as my mom left with us, you bet your ass that she hightailed it to the nearest hair salon and chopped her hair off and dyed
Oh
it.
yeah.
And we have some pretty hideous pictures of her with hair like
For no reason at all, they all went
Like,
Britney Spears.
very,
Like I'm shaving
very
it
like
off.
curved, very like bobbed, and then bright red.
Oh wow.
Like I should dig them out and show them to you because
So
they're
we are
actually
going
really
to the
bright.
most extreme levels.
She at least
that
she didn't
we
get a
can.
mohawk, right?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
that
She could have
was-
like been in the
Yeah.
tattoo studio next
Ooh.
day.
Yeah,
and getting her
imagine
head shaved.
imagine like what the reverse extreme could have been.
A
Like she just
really
getting shit faced, riding a Harley, got
Oh,
a tramp
yeah.
stamp on. It's only been 6 hours.
Well, my
What
mom
the
was a
fuck?
parent. She had to be responsible still, you know.
Yeah, she was still a teacher at school during that time.
Yeah, she had
Which
to
let's
remain
talk a
like
little bit about that.
presentable.
So, your mom had a profession, and I know most of the other sister wives that I've met, like they're housewives. They, you know, they're half wives. They take care of either the children being born in, or the family, or the house. They cook the meals and everything. But how was your mom able to be a teacher while doing that and allowed to go to school? That seems really counterintuitive
You know,
to everything else you've told us.
I actually don't know. I don't know the answer to that question because one of the sister wives was just like a primary teacher, I think, at the church. And then the other one was working at like a Whole Foods store. So I don't know how my mom got away with getting her bachelor's degree and became a teacher.
That is
Like,
dope.
I need to ask her about that
Yeah.
actually because that's a really great question.
Here's another thing is with all like okay, you said that they pretty much had like a small little section with a couple houses
Yeah.
and everything. So did like every wife have their own separate house, or like how did that work out? And like what
I
was
think
the
in the
inner
beginning they didn't.
In the
Let her
beginning,
answer.
no. In the beginning, we were all kind of forced to live in the same house. And at one point, my mom was forced to live in an unfinished basement with, like, I can't remember if my youngest sibling was born at the time, but with two, maybe possibly three kids and an infant. And
so all the wives were in the same house
Yes.
at
Yeah,
one point.
until they
Now-
built some others because they like built a replica of his childhood home,
uh-huh.
like at the front of the house, and then they have the big like farmhouse that they stayed in, and then later on,
Actually,
the
it was
middle
that
wife-
first big house, and then that one, and then
oh, so it was the family house.
it
first?
was the family house.
Okay, so
first.
then the other one came, and then they built a third
They
one.
only built that childhood replica was because my grandma wanted to move from Portland, and she's
She's very uppity. She's like
an
that.
An
Yeah, that's a
interesting
whole
woman.
nother subject. but she was a very successful, I think, engineer or something, and like a really powerful person. She has some
Very
influence and some
eccentric.
like a very eccentric, very self-centered.
Mhm.
And to the point that one Christmas she had written an autobiography and she gifted it to everybody in the family.
I'm
Excited.
crying.
Yo,
I ain't
That
gonna
is-
lie.
That is.
I'm not self-centered, but I am such a smart ass. That is something like
I
and
would
petty.
do,
That
like,
that's something
petty,
I would
oh
do.
my
Okay,
God.
you know, like
That's something
I
that
would
like
do
my
that.
40th
You're your own favorite subject. Everybody,
Right.
my
is, right?
40th birthday, the party favor would be you're leaving with a book about me, motherfucker. Like,
Hey, if you make it there from where you were to where you know to that point, hell yeah, fucking do it. But it seems like she was just like always at that level and,
She's
and
like,
had
I've always been the
expectations.
goat. I came out the womb the
And
goat.
she's
It's-
some
it's-
ambassador or something to some foreign
Yeah,
country
of-
too.
of-
And
Have you ever
like,
Very
heard,
specifically, she's the ambassador of Liechtenstein.
mm.
She was very specific about how we pronounce it. She's like,
had to be
you got it,
perfect.
you got it. It's Liechtenstein.
Have you ever heard one of the wildest things Kanye West has ever said?
Oh my god.
His greatest regret, his biggest regret in life, is that he'll never get to watch himself perform live. That encompasses what you're saying about this lady.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's something that
Like,
she
I
would say.
love Kanye.
My biggest regret is I
Kanye was
didn't
not
get
good.
to watch a movie about my life.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Wasn't it your birthday or you were getting
Yes.
Christmas gifts? Or I think it was her birthday, and her grandmother was super insistent. I've got gifts for everybody. I got
was
gifts for
literally
everybody. Tried
opening my
so hard to
presents.
steal the spotlight. And when it finally came around for her to have her chance to give her gifts, they were all photos of herself, all professional prints
Headshots.
of herself.
Modeling headshots. She said, I'm
yeah.
trying to break into the industry if anyone
Yeah.
has a contact.
No, she
She's
saw
a
that
hustler,
someone
too.
else
She
It's
was
a
just
getting
fucking
fucking
that
8-year-old
She just
birthday
wants-
party.
She's like in her 80s, maybe close to 90s, and all she wants
she's-
to do is marry a young rich man. Like
Irk.
Get
Erk.
away from me. Get away from me. Get away from me.
But yeah,
Get
so
away
their
from me.
current living situation now is there's the first sister wife in the main area because she has the most kids. She's got like an upstairs and a downstairs. And then in the basement is my dad's most recent wife. That is a whole other thing that I was incredibly bitter about. Ugh. But she is in the basement. And then in a separate house is my dad's technically third wife. Yeah, she has one kid and she has the whole house to herself. I don't know how that works.
So how does the time, like, how do the kids all get together? Like, do the families like live separately? Or
Well,
like, is there like a communal,
now
like
the
we all get
kids-
together at this house and we all spend time
Yeah,
together?
Sundays
and-
are church days and family days.
Sundays are the days that the family gets together and has like lunch.
Mm.
Ah, okay.
But each individual family, like all of my half siblings now, most of them are grown up enough that they are all married and have kids. They live away.
Yeah.
But if they are in the area every Sunday, they all get together
Mm.
and they have that Sunday lunch.
And I imagine growing up, your life's probably so scheduled that there isn't too much free time.
Not really, actually. I don't actually have a ton of memories from my childhood because I'm pretty positive that like 80% of them are repressed.
Yeah.
So I'm actually not entirely positive. I don't think so though.
Well, she has a lot of stories of like playing with her siblings
Yeah.
and doing fun
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
it
So
was
like
you
the kids
guys
were kinda
do
left
get
alone to
together.
explore.
Yeah, we were
They took
like
care of the
more or less.
horses and the farm.
It was
and,
like
you
the
know.
parents had enough to take care of that they didn't have enough time for one individual kid.
'Cause I always had this like
Play with your brother and sister. I'm busy.
not to like make light of it, but I always had this like vision in my head of like there's these houses and like each wife and their families, like their kids live in these different houses, and the dude's just like goes
Yeah,
from house to house.
That's essentially
Yeah.
what it is. That's essentially what it is. My dad
Okay.
spends the night at one house, and then the next night at another house, and the next night at another house. He like
That's-
What if we
rotates.
bought the same bed for every house, so it's like just as
Yo.
broken in and comfortable? You're not trying to readjust to a different bed every time you lay
Okay.
down.
Whenever he's not staying
So
there, you have to
much-
put
so
a
much
super
numbers.
weighted pillow in his spot so that it
Yeah.
just stays broken in.
But here's the thing, though, and this is some food for thought that I've thought about, and I'm not entirely positive how my dad and his wives dealt with it. How do you think my dad and his wives handled Valentine's Day?
Oh
shit.
yeah, like there's
Oh god.
I've thought about
Oh,
this, and
God.
I don't know. There's a few ways that they could do it, right? my dad could either pick one wife, one favorite wife, and go on a date with
Yeah.
this one wife.
But now
go
the
on
other
3
two.
separate
Wow.
dates on the same day with these 3 other women
Oh, so
or
stressful.
2 other women, or go on a date at the same time with all 3 women
Oh,
and
Jesus.
look like a man whore.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
like-
say. I was
like,
gonna say.
what are you doing?
Even the cops are just gonna be like,
So,
have you guys ever been arrested for prostitution? Like, you look like a
Yeah.
fucking pimp right now,
Yeah,
sir.
right?
Yeah.
Especially when they were all younger. I mean, hell, there's a good 20-year difference between, I think, the father and her mom. Like,
It's
or
16
Yeah.
years.
16?
16 years.
And like
But that got me, hold on, that got me on another thought. What happens when they all get caught and their cycles sync? Like,
oh, bro, I was
dude,
already
they're all
thinking about
ragging
that.
at the same time.
I was
like,
already
you're
thinking
like,
about that. And
honey, I'm going camping for a week. I'll be back.
here's
For a
here's
month.
another one, and hear me out. Is it like, I'm trying not to like sound crude.
Yeah.
Just
I
go
think
for
I set
it.
the stage for that.
Yeah,
so you can probably say what
just
you
go
want.
for it.
Are like a lot of sexual things like
Jesus
just like
fucking
ruled
Christ.
out with that
I
religion?
have absolutely no clue.
Because what about threesomes and shit? Like,
Yeah,
you
it's
know, like
probably
now there's
straight
just this
missionary,
whole
That
like,
is-
the most
other.
vanilla, boring sex you could imagine.
Not
But-
Because like
vanilla,
imagine
bro.
imagine you
Hey,
invite
yo.
imagine you invite one of the other wives over, and then there's just this one that's ostracized, and it's like, I will burn that fucking house down. What?
Yeah, it's like, how do they? Is there jealousy within it?
There's
That-
gotta be.
Oh, there
Is
is
there-
100%.
And that's just so
jealousy in it.
insane
Oh
that
my
like
God.
there's like, first off, you're dealing
Does
with
she cook
so
better
much
than me?
wild shit.
Hey, I mean, kudos to the men that manage to keep it together enough to juggle that however they do it, whether it's by good intentions or manipulation. Like, that's a hell of a lot of shit to
Oh yeah.
balance on a plate.
But no, that's
It's
that
too
is a
much.
part of it
I
that
agree.
I
Fuck,
do
it's too
not
much. That
care
sounds
to
like too
know.
much.
I don't want to know how they did
Oh yeah,
Understand.
no.
any of that.
It was just a random thought that come
no,
to mind. I
that's
was
really
like,
funny though.
Some-
So it definitely gives you something to think about though,
a little
for
bit.
sure.
it just goes to show like
Maybe
the inner
not, 'cause-
workings.
Yeah.
Like, you know how stressful. Like, imagine having this lifestyle that you're just so. You have so much belief in it that, like, you're just dealing with the most extra stress ever. Like, there's so much shit that you have to be doing that's just way too much.
Yeah.
Like how in the fuck do you afford 3 houses and take care of all these
My
kids
dad
and like
Yeah, my dad didn't just buy these houses. My dad built these houses.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like
And on top of building these houses, he has a massive family to support. He is so far in debt. He is never going
He
to be
has
able
to,
to retire.
unless the church is paying for all of it because he has such stature in the community. Like, I don't know how all that works.
But about that though, I'm pretty positive that my dad had 3 wives. Like, he has 3 wives now, but he had 3 wives before, and then 2 of him divorced him, including my mom and 1 other woman. I'm pretty positive that because 2 of his wives left him, and he was only actually no, he had 4 wives. Yeah, 2 of his wives left him either way. He wasn't allowed to marry another woman for a long time, I think, because that was like bad.
Yeah.
Like he's like a not like trustworthy enough to have another wife.
so he's
So
like
you mean like allowed by the church where
Yeah.
it's recognized, not maybe legally? Because we looked
Uh-huh.
at this earlier just to have this nugget for the podcast in it. So they can be legally bound to one woman, but then all of the others are kind of this like spiritual sort of officiation. And I guess there's some like things with assets and taxes or whatever, which is some of the reasons that people do get married officially is, and that because they're supported in that household, live in that household or live on the property or whatever, that
They
there's
can be
you
counted
know-
as married.
yeah,
Uh,
it's some weird
so like
loophole.
civil union.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh. But you mentioned just like a few minutes ago about like if things are awkward or if
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
tension.
Tell us about that.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. There were multiple times throughout my childhood where one sister wife would deliberately like be up in front of the other sister wife, like kissing and hugging my dad and being all sweet and romantic just to make the other sister wife jealous. And the tension was so thick between them that I swear to God, you could cut it with a knife.
Yeah, that's and I would never want to be stuck in that
Like a
situation,
bunch of
like
angry cats in a box.
consistently.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just
It's like
consistent.
you shake it and they're just gonna start fighting each other. But they can't, because if they do, then they're probably going to hell because they all
Yeah.
have to get along because they're sister wives.
I wonder what the homicide rate is in communities like
I
that.
don't know, but I bet it's large.
Yeah, oh yeah, there has to be
But
But
like
I
a
bet if it
lot of
happens, that number is totally
It's
hidden.
yeah.
yeah, there
Oh,
has to be so many
yeah,
women that just
yeah.
like are scorned and then boom,
Mhm.
something happens and
Snapped,
Mhm.
Yeah.
snapped. Like
Mhm.
next
Or the
thing you
wife
know,
disappears into the hills.
yeah, or
yeah.
something
Yeah, it
Just
could
crazy.
go the
gone.
other
Yeah,
way
yeah.
too. Because
Definitely.
there's some
Well, I don't
weird
know what
shit.
happened. She took the dog out and
Well,
never
I mean,
came back.
especially central Utah. I mean, the drive from like about the furthest point south you can get, like, so starting at Ogden, Utah, going through Salt Lake, all the way down, that's like the most densely populated part of all of Utah. And the rest
Mhm.
of it is just high desert, alpine regions, and ranches. So you get to like Payson at the bottom of that whole thing up there, and then it's like 2.5 hours, 3 hours of just nothing.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's just
You may
we drove.
possibly
It's just a
drive through a
tundra.
few like little tiny towns, but that's it. That's it.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it's very remote, and it seems like a lot of the concentration, excuse me, of those communities are in very isolated places where they can keep them in that bubble, and they're not influenced by modern
Yeah.
society.
It's not as simple as a run
Yeah.
out the door and try to run away.
No, not at
Mhm.
all. And you, at that rate, you have no survival skills. You have no idea how to do that unless you're picking up books and reading about it. But you have no working knowledge of
And
any of it.
if
but
anyone catches
watching
you
and
at one
chop
of
wood
them
when you
books,
guys go on the weekend camping trip, kind of stuff.
Mhm.
yeah, and if someone catches you with one of them books, then imagine
Yeah.
there's some type of punishment.
Why, like, why are you reading that? What's going on? Like, oh, I'm just interested in this. Really? Is that it? Like, yeah.
Another thing I would like to talk about is the relationship that I have between me and my half siblings. These siblings that came from the first wife, because it was the first wife,
Yeah, do
my
some of them
mom.
still believe in that type of religion?
Yeah.
There's only a select few that have gotten away, and even then, they still quasi follow some of the ideologies. I would just say with the amount of kids they decided to have or whatever. But go on.
Yeah. Like so my dad got married to his first wife and had a bunch of kids. And then he married my mom and had us. And because we were kids from another mother, the kids from the first wife were incredibly bitter towards me and my
They
siblings.
probably felt entitled.
So much so that they straight up abused me and my siblings. Like, there is one particular memory that I have where one of my older brothers deliberately kicked an open dog food can at my face and it cut my eye open.
Damn.
Like, my dad's a doctor, so luckily he was there to give me stitches. I didn't have to go to the
Yeah.
hospital or anything,
Yeah.
but I still have a scar there.
Yeah, gotta keep it all
And
contained. That's fucked up.
yeah, and they were constantly just talking down to us, making us feel like shit, like we weren't worth anything because we were the product of another woman, and just all around it was a messed up situation. But recently, one of my older half brothers actually talked to me about this, and he's the only one that has done this, and I can guarantee he's the only one that has actually actively thought about how him and his siblings treated me and mine. He genuinely like sat down with me and he was like, I am so sorry for the way that I treated you when I was a kid. I was a dick.
And was he one of the ones that got out?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
the
yeah,
one.
so
Yeah,
he-
he's off doing his own thing. He's happily married. He has 4 kids.
So
That's
he
what's
now,
up.
I imagine he realized like just the whole situation was fucked up.
Yeah.
Like most definitely his actions at the time, but also like that the situation he was put in at the time wasn't normal. So that interaction should have realistically never happened to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was incredibly touched when I realized that he had put enough thought into it that he felt the need to apologize.
Yeah.
But yeah, like my half siblings hated me and my full siblings. My relationship with them is relatively okay now. I haven't actually talked to any of them in just about as long as I haven't talked to my dad because well,
We had one experience with them. They invited us up for a family gathering when I first got to Utah, and it was really awkward. I mean, even the one of the cooler siblings, he was just kind of like distracted and really not engaging, but nobody in the family really was. And now, mind you, we show up at this place and they're all there with their newborns and all, the kids and everything, and all they wanted to know, they didn't care about how she was doing after not seeing her
they
for
hadn't
well over
seen
a
me
year.
for like 6 months.
They hadn't seen me in close to 2. Not that anybody in the family really likes me. um
Oh yeah, I
But-
imagine you
yeah.
keeping her away and everything. Like
Yeah.
you're the
Well, it goes on both sides at this point, we're learning, but yeah. But all they wanted to know was like, when are you having kids?
Yeah,
That's all
as
they
they're all
cared about.
carrying their
Mm.
newborns and like making sure to keep track of all their little ones. That was the only question that any of them asked. When are you guys having kids? Not, oh, how has your life been for the last 6 months? You randomly disappeared. What happened? Where do you go?
Yeah, and we tried
Yeah.
like talking about it, and you don't. It's always awkward. You could feel when you're trying to force
Yeah.
talking about yourself,
But no one fucking cared.
but nobody asked, nobody showed
Like,
any interest, and it was
they're-
just awkward.
I
It was a fun
love them
time, but
all.
just awkward.
I
Yeah.
love them all. Don't get me wrong. But ultimately, a lot of them are just fake. They don't actually care.
Yeah, it's a rough
And-
time when like talking about your like and not and this is where it's fucked up because you want to talk about your like the shit that's going on with you and like some of your accomplishments, the shit that like they haven't seen because you haven't seen them in so long,
Mhm.
and they care so little that you talking about yourself almost sounds like you're just bragging. And it's like, all right, you know what, like if you care so little and you're not putting any effort into this conversation that it just sounds like I'm
Yeah.
Yeah.
trying to belittle you by talking about just my accomplishments, then like
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like that prick, so we're just not gonna have
Yeah,
this
exactly.
conversation.
Just kinda
Yeah.
shut
And
down.
after that, I was just like, okay, fine. Like you don't want to care to know how I've been for the last 6 months. You don't want to know anything else other than whether or not I am pregnant. Like, fine. I'm not going to involve you in my life. Like, I'm not going to tell you anything. The only way you're going to know is if you actively reach out to me.
Yeah.
See, I've had this.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
get it.
it's
I
not
totally
it's not
get
that I
it.
don't want to be
Facebook.
a part of your life. It's that you aren't reaching out to me.
Yeah,
like
and
I
I-
shouldn't have to interject myself in your life to be
Yeah,
a part
exactly,
of your life.
exactly.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I totally get
Yeah,
it.
because I recently made a Facebook post when I was coming out here about, hey, I'm coming, I'm making it known. Like, I haven't been here in 2 years, more than 2 years. Like, reach out to me, we'll make plans. If you can't do something, fine. But don't expect me to twist what I got to do to see the people I want to see.
Yeah.
Or if you
Someone
are
see
around,
you're in town
like,
and them hit you up
hey,
last minute and expect you to drop all your plans to go do
exactly.
that.
It's like,
and
you
it's
knew
like,
I
bro,
was coming. Come on.
you only hit me up because you ain't doing nothing right now.
Exactly.
And you see that I'm in
And
town.
even locally, even with maybe getting to know her family and stuff, it's like, listen, guys, like, we're 3 hours away. If you really want to get to know me, let's make a plan. Let's do something.
Mm.
But I've got my own life and I can't turn that upside down to go, always take a weekend trip. Like, let's meet halfway somewhere.
Yeah.
And there's, but you get it. Like
Yeah. Oh, no,
it's not about
absolutely.
being selfish. It's just
No,
about
it's just
recognizing when somebody's not
not
fulfilling their end
interested.
of the
Yeah.
relationship, be it
Yeah.
friendship, romantic,
Because it's a two-way street.
business.
Yeah.
It can't just be
anything.
you going towards them. They also have to be going towards you.
Yep.
Like, you cannot be the one putting in all of the effort into the relationship. There has to be at least some effort from their
See,
part
I had to learn
too.
that the hard
That's
way.
with my kid, we have a 6-year-old daughter. She'll be 7 in August. And, you know, there's people that I imagine they wish that they got to see my daughter more. But the problem with that is that, like, we're not holding our daughter hostage. You know what I
You're
mean?
just
It's not
not
it's like,
reaching out.
yeah, it's like I shouldn't have to bring my kid to your house
No.
or
Every
make a
time, at
play date
least.
with you
Yeah. Like,
somewhere
if you want
every
to get
time for you to spend time with my kid. Like,
Yeah.
you know where we live and you know that you're more than welcome to come by
if
here
they
and
want
see
to
her
spend
at
time with
any
your
moment.
kid, they have to make the time. Like, you're not going, you cannot be the one making the time every time. They have
Yeah.
to put some effort towards that relationship as well. Otherwise, it's just not fair to you.
Yeah, like it's
That's way too much
impossible.
pressure on you.
It's impossible for me to work and then get done with work and then come to my second job and be here all day trying to figure shit out and also take time away from all of that to drive my kid wherever so you can see my kid whenever. Like, y'all could have easily did that at the house if you would have just drove to where we're at, and we would have averted this whole situation of
Yeah,
me
no
losing
drama.
money.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And there's a give and take, after some time, and you kind of build that relationship, and there's that trust, and it's equal on
Oh
both
yeah, like I
ends.
most
No,
definitely would
you
have
have
no
no
problem
problem
with.
sacrificing some of your time
Yeah,
to
there's
spend
yeah.
it with
sometimes
them.
there's sometimes where, all right, hey, he'll come. There's times he comes over the house and he's like, "What do you got going on at the studio today?" I'm like, "Actually, bro, there's nothing. Like, we have no podcast today. We have nothing going on, so I don't even know if I'm gonna go over there. I might just kick it at the house." Like, there are those days.
Hmm.
So there's easily days that I could be like, "All right, hey, let's take the kid out and let's go out see whoever or whatever."
Hmm.
But it's like, why would I do that
If you're not going to put in
All
the
the
effort
time.
if
ever.
yeah, if not once ever has it been, "Oh, hey, I know you're probably busy and stuff, so I was gonna stop by the house and see Paisley."
Yeah.
Like, I've never heard
Yeah. And
that.
for me, man, I've chased, you know how unreliable people are here.
Mm.
I've chased relationships, friendships, romantic, whatever, and I'm over it. The days I've wasted sitting at my house because so and so, I'm coming in an hour, I'm coming in
Oh
an
yeah,
hour,
real
and
shit, bro.
you just sit there twiddling your thumbs like, well, when's this gonna happen? You waste an entire day, and I probably have weeks of my life I've burned waiting for that
Dude,
shit.
I think I've kind of like figured this town out
Let's hear it, because
to some extent.
dropping
All right.
bombs.
So, because there isn't huge opportunity here and we're not like as bustling as like other cities, including Pittsburgh and shit, I feel like a majority of the people here end up gaining that. Like, whenever you talk about doing something, you gain a small amount of like serotonin that's released that gives you almost the same feeling as if you already accomplished
You
it.
actually did the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like so many people like ride that. You know what I mean? It'll be like,
Without
oh man,
Really
actually
great
it'll be
point.
like, oh man, we should start doing this. And then
It's almost as fun to talk about.
yeah,
it
and
as
then
it is
I'm
to do
all
it.
about it. And like 4 days later, I hit him up and I'm like, all right, bro, what day do you want to get together and let's start figuring this out? And they're like, oh man, like with my schedule, I was just thinking about it, but sometime in the future, if my schedule clears
Yeah,
up, like
in
I'd
that
like to.
regard too, it's a lot of that fear of putting themselves out there, the feel of failure, especially if it's a bigger project. But
Yeah.
you get that down to even just hanging out. Oh, hey,
Yeah,
let's
exactly.
go for how.
You know
Let's
how
take
many
a hike,
times,
or let's whatever.
and we know a couple of people that's in the same friend group that you hit them up and it's like, what are you doing? Nothing, man. I'll be over in a little bit.
Yeah.
4 hours
they
go
talk
by.
hard.
Oh, sorry, the old lady had me caught up with whatever,
Yeah.
or something along the lines. It's like,
My
no
dog
harm,
stepped on a
yeah,
nail.
yeah,
Like,
no harm, no foul. It is what it is. But it's like, we get it. We we get it.
after a while. You're kind of just like,
So you build those boundaries, you know, you build
Yeah.
those barriers where you're like, I don't even fucking deal with it. I'm going to be here. I'm going to do my thing. And if my thing flows over into your thing,
Yeah,
then we can do something. But until then, I'm just going to stay here and work on my projects and
I'm
come
pretty
over if you want.
positive. I'm pretty positive it's even been communicated through some means to the other side of the family that if they want to see me, they have to come see me.
Right.
I'm pretty positive that it's been communicated that I am not going
Yeah,
to,
at least that side specifically.
Yeah, yeah, that I am not going to go and see them. If they want to see me, they have to reach out to me and they have to schedule a time
and
to
I
see
imagine
me.
it's risky too. You know, like is that's the side that's like still
Yeah.
involved in.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like
yeah.
you go trying to
Well,
see them and
Not really.
Not by now.
Yeah, not really. Like it's just kind of
It's always awkward, right?
it's always awkward.
Mm.
There's always just like tension.
They're not trying to
in the
bring her
room.
back into the community. They know that
well,
she's
I wasn't necessarily
Oh,
talking
okay.
about that. I'm talking like you don't think that they somewhere secretly deep down like they want to silence the motherfuckers that did leave because there's the potential of them saying something.
That's yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Well,
I
like
see where you're coming
you
from.
show
I
up
think-
and then you leave, and next thing you know, you get a flat tire down the road because someone put
Yeah,
a
and
pinhole in
so
it,
I
and
don't
then some
think that
guy
that's-
pulls up on the side of the highway.
so much as a problem for maybe the offspring that leave with the wife, but I could guarantee that's a lot of her mother's fears
Oh,
and putting
yeah.
herself
Yeah.
out there and prematurely
She
releasing
does
the
her
story without it being
Right.
ready to be a bombshell.
she does her very best to like make sure that no one on that side of the tracks knows where she is and what she's doing. She does her very best to keep her life secret from those people
Yeah, oh,
As
yeah,
she
I
should.
imagine.
because she doesn't want them to
That's,
know.
like,
because
probably-
And that's
it's
not to say they
scary
don't
to her.
already know. If they cared enough, they'd still have tabs.
Right.
you
Yeah.
know?
Oh yeah, especially living where she lives now. Like she's literally living in the hub of it, like
Mm.
right in central Utah.
Yep.
Well, I respect her heavily that she's not letting it stop her from living
Oh
her
yeah,
life.
no, my
No,
mom is an
never
incredible
has.
woman. I could talk about my mom for hours.
So there was a stipulation when the divorce happened that they could not leave Utah and it would have been considered
Yeah.
kidnapping.
Yeah.
If so her mother made it a point that every chance they got, they went on hikes, they did nature stuff, they went
Mhm,
camping, they went to the
mhm.
national parks. Like she did a really good job at keeping them exposed and getting them out there and always going on these big trips. And I mean, you could leave the state, but you couldn't move out of state.
Yes,
was the-
yeah,
right?
my mom.
So they still
couldn't
went on,
move us.
other trips and stuff.
Yeah,
But so they
Yeah,
got to see
for-
the world.
for the longest time though, these bars have kind of been like halfway lifted. But for the longest time, when I pictured the state of Utah, I pictured it with like jail bars around it because
Yeah.
Utah was my jail. Like I could not leave.
And regardless of how beautiful a place is, that becomes the backdrop,
Just
and then you're
knowing-
just
Yeah.
in it.
Just knowing
Yeah.
you
Get
can't
complacent.
leave. You know,
Yeah,
think
it's
I
like here,
always,
man. I
I
mean-
always put it down like this: when you got to go to school or something like that, all you want to do is stay home.
Yep.
Let your parents say that you're grounded, and watch how miserable you are with all those fucking toys
Yeah.
that you
Sell
were
a
just
vi-
begging.
Yeah.
Here's one always got
Yeah.
me: sell a video game you never play.
Yeah.
Now
Oh,
all you want to do
man.
is play that fucking game, right?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
you know, like Utah may be beautiful and it's amazing and there's probably a lot of shit to do, but you know, whenever you know you can't go nowhere else, it's like, well, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
why-
yeah. But
It's just- it is a
now,
prison.
now that
Like,
I'm,
now
you
I want to
know-
leave. I didn't want to leave, but you said
Yeah.
I can't, so now I fucking got
Exactly.
what's out there that you don't want me to see.
Yeah, exactly. But now that I'm older and I've separated myself from that side of the family and I'm off doing my own thing, now, like I said, those bars have been kind of like halfway lifted because it doesn't feel so much like I'm trapped. Like we can leave whenever the fuck we want to go.
Yeah.
Like there is absolutely nothing keeping either of us in Utah.
Except a
So-
whole heap of money.
Yeah,
But we're all
that's
fighting
about
for
it.
that,
That's
right?
No,
about
but
it.
I imagine it's got to be an amazing breath of fresh air for not only you but your mother, definitely, to just be like, I'm I'm free.
Oh yeah,
Like I can just
absolutely.
do
Have
whatever
you
the fuck I
seen?
want
You
to do.
might not have, but have you possibly seen the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt? I think it's like on Netflix or
No.
Nah.
I'm
no.
big on stand up, so I'm gonna have to. Is it a stand
It's
up?
not a stand-up,
Oh,
but it's
okay. It just
really
sounded
funny.
like
It sounds
a
like
It
stand
does
up.
sound like a stand-up. It's basically about this woman, Kimmy Schmidt, who lived in like a bunker underground for a long part of her life because she believed that the apocalypse happened and the world was destroyed and everything, and it was just her and these three other women that were like just kept underground by this guy. And then these people discovered where they were and rescued them. And then when Kimmy discovers that the world isn't destroyed and everything is okay, everyone's still there, she's so excited. She's like, I can have candy for breakfast. I am going to swing all the way around this swing. Like, as a dream, like you keep going on a swing and you just
Yeah.
hope to go all the way over it.
Yeah.
Kimmy's just like, I'm gonna do that. And just getting super excited over something as simple as like automatic soap dispensers or something,
Mm,
or like hand dryers. My mom was that.
yeah.
My mom was so excited
She's
to
still
be
very
like,
much that person. We went out
oh
to
yeah.
karaoke with her one time. I don't think she's ever been in a bar before that. And mind you, it's how many years since it happened? 10, 12 years, more than that.
More than that, yeah.
And so she was just blown away by these old people going up and singing songs of their youth and just throwing down. Some of them were really good and they're like pushing 70 up there on stage doing their thing. And
Yeah.
so she still has that kind of like
childlike
innocence, childlike excitement about the world.
Yeah.
Never say a bad thing about anybody to their face.
And
like,
the awesome thing is that's like a good silver lining to look at
Oh.
for the whole situation is
she was
like
able to carry that through all of it.
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
and not only that, now that she does get to experience that, it's at an age where like she potentially could appreciate it more than like a lot of us growing up because we
Oh,
were kids. We were
absolutely.
kids when we were going through that
Like,
wonder phase.
you-
know what I
you-
mean? That
you
oh my
had
god,
that.
what?
Yeah.
But imagine going through that wonder phase, like seeing some shit for the first time and being like a roller coaster, seeing a roller coaster for the first time, and be like, I can fucking get on that.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
don't need a license to get on that.
Yeah.
Like this isn't some rocket ship that's going to
And
take me
having
to
the
Mars.
financial stability.
Yeah, and you're
to
an
do whatever you
adult.
want.
Yeah, you're an
Yeah.
adult to comprehend. Oh fuck yeah, I'm gonna do that 12 times, and no one's gonna stop me.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. I never really looked at it from that angle.
But yeah, I feel like I got that particular quality from my mom because it really doesn't matter what situation I'm in. I've been through a lot of shit in the past 4 years. Like an unbelievable amount. My siblings don't even know. But like through everything that I've been through, I have done my very best to make sure that I find the positive in what is happening.
Yeah, I was gonna say it seems like you guys have definitely like found your love in life.
Yeah.
You know, like you.
I got distracted. My sister. It's funny you say that. My sister just sent me a picture of us sleeping in the back of the car today,
Aww.
laying over each other. Yeah, it's been a journey, and we've had some recent hangups. To get a little more personal than we intended, where we needed a little bit of space, and she took some time away, but it gave us a chance to reflect and realize, before marriage, before kids, before we really establish that life together, hey, we have communication issues. Like we both need to feel comfortable enough with each other to say what's on our mind. Like neither of us can read what's going on in our own heads. So like if there's something that needs talked about, let's sit down and have the discussion. Let's not let it get to somebody shutting down and being silent, or to a point that somebody else is being passive aggressive about simple silly things. Let's squash the issue where it is and see what we can do with it. But I mean, yeah, we're really happy together, and we're making it happen. And relative to some of the relationships we know that go on for eons from our background here, it's a way more healthy relationship than some people might think from the outside looking in, just being kind of residually involved in it. Because I have a pretty rough background. I mean, she has a very unique, interesting thing that she's come from.
Right.
But like from the
And I
outside looking
imagine-
in, you might think that I'm just you know, especially from somebody that's established and as a great profession and does all their things, that, you know, I'm just some no good punk, you know, or I'm some huge alcoholic or nothing but a pothead. And the reality is, I've, you know, not that I was ever a huge drinker, have leveled out, you know, and so, you know, so
We all
we're
went through
dealing
that
with
phase.
we're dealing with that kind of stuff right now. I think with her family and stuff, and the way they view things. So that's like a whole nother thing. And I think once we get through that and they can see the kind of person I really am and how I treat her, and I've, you know, made my mistakes in the past, and maybe how I've handled that. But we're definitely working for a stronger future. And, you know, I'm really, really happy with her.
I imagine it's definitely a learning experience for you too, because coming from her unique background, there's probably a lot of things that you got to like tread lightly about,
Yeah.
or like be more cautious of how you say it or what you're trying to say, because I'm sure a lot of things may come off the wrong way. Like you may not be saying it the way that she may be receiving it,
Yeah, exactly.
and
It's actually really funny because Armin's really observant about certain things, or about everything. But he's noticed some things about me and brought attention, or my attention, to these things that I didn't even know. Like,
Amateur psychologist over here.
and we're just like
I only got a
talking
degree,
about
but
it.
I can tell you about yourself.
Dude, me and my wife talk about it all the time. It's like I can hang out with someone for a couple days, and I'm not going to say that I can pinpoint you as a person 100%, but as long as you were genuine around me, I can get a general idea of like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that comes from being
what's
around here,
what.
because we got to be so cautious about the people we interact with,
definitely.
Oh
what
yeah,
they're
because
really about. We're on
everybody is
everything. Like,
everybody seems to be about
Yeah.
themselves.
Yep.
Mhm. But yet, no, I'm just like, I don't know why I'm like this. Like, I don't know why I respond this certain way. And Armin's just like, I know.
Yeah, it's like,
I
it's
could
because
tell
of
you.
this.
I could tell you. And I'm like, he explains it to me, and I'm like, that actually makes a lot of sense.
What's awesome though is that you're willing to receive that and not just instantly push it off as like,
You don't know me.
yeah, like I
I
know,
now want to watch Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Oh God.
because I know, like some women would possibly like take that as like, how are you gonna tell me what's making me feel this way?
Right.
Like,
Right.
you know what
Oh,
I mean?
yeah,
Like,
no,
oh
it's
yeah,
like-
And
let's
that's been a
make
lot
it
of
all
fights
about
in
me.
past
Let's
relationships,
let's
right?
make it all my fault.
Oh,
Like, no,
bro,
listen, I'm
that's-
just trying to like give you
Yes.
perspective, so now you know what to work on. Like, I'm not trying to question your traumatic, and that's it. Is it's trauma from a lot of people. They get so defensive, or it triggers
And
something
then
in
it's
their
like,
mind.
oh, you're gaslighting me. And
Yeah,
it's
or
like,
you
I'm
have
not even doing
PTSD,
that
like-
at all. I'm just trying to talk to you. Like,
Yeah, and they just take it off the rails. And
Oh,
I've definitely experienced that dating around here and stuff. And like you said, it's very different. It's total culture shock between us.
Yeah.
We are from totally different ends of the spectrum, and I think that's also what causes some static with the family too, in direction to me, because it's like, well, you know, I got away from it. I'm working on myself. Like, I didn't start figuring shit out until halfway through my 20s. Like, give me
Yeah.
some space. You know, it might look like I need to get things together, but this is more together than it's ever been.
Yeah,
You should
we're
see some of my
kind
friends
of
back
we're
home,
kind of
like-
late bloomers
Yeah,
around here.
And I don't hate that. I didn't fall into a profession or, you know, commit myself to somebody in my early 20s that I was going to be miserable with for the rest of my life, or a profession or whatever. And so I got a chance to get out and meet somebody fantastic it came together comfortably. It was awkward almost, because when we're driving away, I just looked at her. I'm like, are we dating? Is this a
That's
thing?
literally
We've
what
been-
he said. And I was just like, yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah,
like,
it's
are
like-
we gonna put a label on this now?
Yeah,
are
when-
we officially gonna be boyfriend and girlfriend?
It seems
Like,
like
what are we?
Are we doing
when
bay,
things
or-
move that smooth, you don't like there isn't even any thought about the discussion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
until
you
we
know
were
what I mean?
driving to see my family to stay with them. And I'm just like, well, it's gonna be really weird if he's just some like random person that I'm just
Like, yeah, this is my friend
Yeah.
who I'm traveling with for like 5 years from now. But like,
Imagine the only reason why the title ever even gets brought up, because I'm imagining in your minds at that moment, it was already a non-question. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
y'all were together.
Yeah.
But the reason why the question comes up about the title is because, so how am I going to introduce you to my
Yes,
family?
Yeah.
Like, what do
Yeah.
I say? Do
Yeah,
I say you're my
exactly.
friend? Do I say you're my boyfriend? Like, what are we?
Yeah, no,
It's
that's
like,
exactly
damn,
what we
yo.
talked about. We're just like I can't introduce you as like just my friend
Yeah, it's
because
like
you're
this
not
worked
just
so
my
well. We
friend.
never had to
I'm
have
just,
this talk until now.
I've
Yeah.
learned
Like,
that
that's a
like
little weird.
I've learned that like back in the day, like whenever I used to date certain females, I would be like, so do I like introduce you to my mom as like my girlfriend, or do I just like say your name? Like, so whenever it would come to it, I'd be like, hey mom, this is blah 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 blah, and they're just like, why didn't you introduce me as your girlfriend? I'm like, I didn't know we were dating.
So yeah, word to the wise, have that talk on the drive there.
Yeah, like it
So
wasn't.
you don't
It
experience
wasn't even
the
the drive there.
awkwardness.
It would be like they're already
That's what
there.
I'm
We're
saying,
chilling. Like
yeah.
I'm like, all right, I know at
Yeah,
some
save
point like my
yourself
mom's
the
coming
trouble.
home. So like, what do I? Are we dating? Are we just like friends with benefits? Are
And-
we friends? Are
But
we
I like
like,
how you say on the drive there because it keeps it spicy.
it definitely does.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
It's
just
just like so
it's
you're
just
already
enough time to concoct a game plan, but it's not enough time to like really
Yeah, we had about 4 hours
sit
till
down
we
and just
got
have
there.
the
it's
Yeah.
almost
conversation.
like that one part of the movie where it's just like, fuck, well, I realize we're in
Oh
the
no,
limit
the
here.
bomb's
Like,
gonna go off
yeah,
in
it's
3 minutes. What do
like-
we do? All right, so listen.
Yeah, basically just that in relationship
And
form.
Right.
you know, talking through things and getting some advice from people here in the past month and everything, everybody's like, you can't stop it. Like
No,
if
you
it's
can't.
meant to be and
You
it's the
can't
right
stop
thing,
it.
you're not gonna stop it.
Yeah, I've
Like,
learned that karma and the way of the world just
It
it
works.
just works.
It works.
when you try to force things,
It's like,
it-
I'ma
yeah,
push
the
you
world
away
will
from
the
this
world
for a
will
second,
actually like
buddy.
fuck with you and make
Oh,
things a little
yeah.
bit worse for you
Yeah.
Yeah.
Till it
because
forces
you're
you in that
yeah
right direction.
because you're
It's
trying
like,
to
hey,
force
you're,
it.
you're going
like,
this
listen,
way again. I need you to go this way, buddy.
Yeah, it's like
Let's-
either you slow the fuck down or are we just gonna make this all a halt. Like
Yeah.
I'll stop this train or you're gonna slow down so I can get you where you need to be.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'll put
Yeah.
a brake on this.
If it pushes back, you've got to go with it. If it's going forward, you follow it. You know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, our relationship just happened pretty naturally. We didn't fight it. We're just like, are we a thing? Okay, yeah, we're a
And we
thing.
consider ourselves to be together for the past 3 years, but you know, we had 6 months where we were apart. We kind of took a little bit of a break here recently, but in reality, it's like, hey, we've kind of talked this entire time. Like we've
Yeah, say
always been
after
really
6
great
months.
friends, you know. And so, you know, I came back to Utah to kind of revive everything, or went to Utah to kind of revive everything and say, hey, we like never had a chance. We injected our relationship right into the pandemic and had this weird, crazy experience for a year and a half.
And not only
We
that,
never
you're
had a real
completely stuck
relationship.
with each other like 24/7. Like if you
Yeah.
were living together during the pandemic, it's like that's way too much time
That's a lot of pressure
to yeah.
for a new relationship.
Yeah,
That's a
on a
tremendous
new
amount of pressure, and to
relationship,
even get through
like
that is
you need to kind of ease into the faults of each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To just be like slammed right into, oh, okay, so not to say that you do any of these things, but just a hypothetical list. Oh, okay, so in the last 48 hours, I have now found out that he snores. When he eats potato chips, he doesn't wipe off the crumbs. Like, you know what I mean? Like, these are things that I'm supposed to. He leaves the toilet up, you know,
He
shit
doesn't
like
wipe
that.
the pee off the seat.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
like these are
Just
things
little
that
bullshit.
relationships need to be eased into.
Yeah.
Not to say that they're big things, because they're not. They're little nitpicky things, but they all build up if they're all just, oh, by the way, here you go.
yeah.
Here's
Yeah.
every fucking fault about me, all in
Well,
one
hey,
jam-packed lesson.
and the difference is you know, she effectively landed on my doorstep because I was already there in the cabin established, and we were in the tundra of Wyoming.
Yeah,
Like,
Mhm.
I
we were
didn't have a
smack dab-
car. We didn't have any internet connection. We were just stuck in the middle of
Yeah,
this
so
Yeah.
even if a
snow
bad
cabin.
even if a bad argument broke out, it's like,
There's
Yeah.
nothing.
all
else
right,
we could
listen, we
do.
gotta draw a fucking line. All right,
Yeah.
you get over there and I get
This
over
place
here.
is small, but yeah, it's like we were already existing in that a little bit and learning each other's mannerisms as the relationship came to be. Which, like I said, is just a totally crazy thing. How many other people have experienced that and then turned around to make it work?
Yeah, when I
I
tell
don't know
people
anybody
that
else.
Yeah,
when I
being
tell people
apart
that
for
we got
6 months,
together,
if you're back together like that, it's meant to be.
oh,
You know?
yeah. Yeah. Like when I tell people that we got together right at the beginning of the pandemic and we were stuck in quarantine together and then went through all of the shit that we went through afterwards, they're just like, holy shit, how do your relationship survive?
Right.
Just like, well,
We don't fight. Like
no, we
we're so
don't.
different that we
We
don't
don't.
have like we have some things that are common interests, but we don't have enough in common that we're very opinionated about one specific
That's
thing
good.
where we have a chance to fight about it. So we
Yeah.
just kind of do our own things and we don't bicker, we don't really fight. And it's just a really relaxed thing. And I mean, isn't that should be what everybody's searching for? I know some
Yes.
relationships are a little more fiery than others, and some people are kind of into that to a certain
And
threshold. You
that's
got to start
so
watching.
weird to me. Is that like people get into that thing? Like, yes,
Yeah,
dominate me.
motherfuckers
I'm
like getting spicy.
like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
Why do you like that?
Yeah, and I don't think we'll ever actually get to that point in our relationship where we're just like arguing about every little thing.
I think
Yeah.
we're just gonna be the old couple, just like teasing each other and bickering in that way.
Yeah,
Than being
I was
like
gonna say, you know,
very
around here,
married to the subject of how we feel about something. Because after 3 years, I don't know that there's many other things besides how the wedding's gonna go and the marriage and how we're gonna raise the kids. Those are all the
What
next
color are we
problems.
painting the house next?
Yeah,
Like,
kind of
yeah,
stuff.
I mean, around here, domestics is a common
oh my
thing.
god.
Oh,
You know, we
hell
grew
yeah.
up around
Oh,
some
God.
weird, rough area.
Oh
And
god.
I mean, I had my own run-ins with that throughout my half 20s. I mean, you know who I've dated in the
Yeah.
past and what that looks like
So it's
today.
just
And
like-
it's just dodge a big bullet there, huge
Shit,
cannonball.
I just
Yeah,
had some
to-
Indian
to
town
see that
kids,
you
so-
guys are in a relationship where like an argument is barely even a conversation topic.
That's great.
You know, that's
Yeah.
I'm really happy for you because
Thanks,
A,
man.
not only, like I said, not only did you get out of here and you went and chased, it might not have been your dream starting out,
But
or maybe
a
it was,
dream.
but it became something.
The thing about me is that I spent like most of my 20s and even some of my teens, it's like I'd hyper obsess over a project. I find a thing that was interested, I'd do it for a while, reached some level of competence, and I'd drop it. But every single thing I did, whether it was screen printing or playing in a band or trying to run sound or anything really in between any of that, it's like this is going to lead me to the promised land. This is it.
Yeah.
And then like getting into jujitsu and that kind of paving me the way to get out of here, then getting into cooking. And I mean, I took it as far as I really wanted to. Maybe I didn't work at a Michelin star restaurant, but I worked with people that did.
Yeah.
And I worked at a restaurant that ultimately got it. And the things I prepared helped establish
Mhm.
that
Exactly.
title. I mean, it's the reality of it. So like I might not always hit the mark of what I sought for, but I get really damn close. Even in the bands, like hell, the last big show I played with Goodnight Irene, we opened for fucking Slipknot at a fucking music
dope.
festival. And like literally the entire lineup, less 2 or 3 bands, was all of my hero bands that I grew up loving. And we opened the festival on the closing day. And it's like, I'll take that. I'll
Yeah.
put that in my pocket
Hell
and take
yeah.
it with
Yeah,
me.
that's lit.
Like, so I don't know. But now to finally come around and be to a point where I can really pursue the things, I don't feel, I guess, I'm sorry. Here's my point. My point is I don't feel guilty about it anymore. I used to beat myself up about it and feel horrible because, well, I'm this age and I need to have this figured out. And what am I doing with my life? And it's like, nah, like there is nothing wrong with being a jack of all trades. Go and be an auto mechanic for 6 months or a year, go and, scale rocks and rock climb and do whatever.
Yeah.
And then just fucking when the next thing comes up, take it in stride and take that as far as I can
Yeah,
and then move on to the next.
You're living life,
It is
enjoying
not.
it.
Because all it's ever done is put me in a different position where it's opened all these new options.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
is
it's
not
definitely-
a bad thing to jump from thing to thing, especially if you've taken that other thing as far as you can, because you become a jack of all trades. There's a lot that you can
Those
do.
are all things you could fall
Like,
back
Armand
on. Worst
is
comes to worst.
incredibly
And throughout the
skilled.
way, eventually you're gonna find that thing that like just hits you out of nowhere. One day you're gonna be doing it, and normally you're gonna think that it's the same as any other job. Like, I'm just gonna do this till the next opportunity comes up. And then one day you're not gonna think that no more. And all of a sudden you're gonna be like, I think this is what I'm gonna. I enjoy this so much. I think this is what I'm gonna do the rest of my life. I'm cool with this.
Yeah, and hey, if the bills are paid and you're saving some money and eliminating expenses and living life the best you can, what difference does it make? That's all we're all trying to do, right? Is at least hit base level and live comfortably, and then
Yeah,
from there, the world's your oyster.
yeah. You
And
just
I'm
want to
just getting to
enjoy
that
life.
point.
Yeah, the biggest thing is to enjoy your life. You want to get out there and do, and that's what I mean. Is like, man, you did so much traveling around.
I mean, since even just the pandemic, since we left Wyoming, I've touched a corner of every state west of the Rockies.
Yeah, and even if it's like, you're here to work here or here to whatever, whatever, that's still, man, you're getting to see a lot of shit. Like, you're broadening your spectrum on all of this because we all know we all can look at a map. We all
Mhm.
know how many fucking states we have. But go to each and every state and just see something.
Yeah.
Just go see the wilderness of each and every state and just
Yeah.
realize how fucking big and how much
And
area
hey, I'll
this
tell
shit
you,
really is.
anybody like if it to the audience, if you're a 4 hour drive's a fucking day trip. Like I will say I would rather drive 4 hours out west than 4 hours here and go to Philadelphia or something or DC or whatever. But a 4 hour drive isn't that bad. Get in the
It's
car,
not.
pay the gas, go somewhere for 4 hours and drive back.
Yeah,
Like
see
go and see
something.
something. Get the hell out of here because there is beautiful areas around here and
Oh,
really
yeah.
cool things to
absolutely.
do
That's
and
we
incredibly rich in history. Like get out of your comfort zone.
Like,
People out. Sorry, go ahead.
I almost wish that we could be here for longer because if we were, then we could explore the area a little bit more. This place
Yeah.
has so much history. It is unbelievable to me.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I
Because
imagine you took her to the
Utah
mountains.
is like a new state
Yeah.
compared to this.
Yeah.
Like there is so much history here, and I just want to just take a massive tour around the entire state and just learn about everything.
Mm.
Because even here, we just took a walk around downtown and like scanned those QR codes and things
Yeah.
and just learned about each individual building. That was incredible.
Oh,
And
it's
just
crazy.
seeing, not even knowing the history, but simply seeing them, seeing how old they are is
Yeah.
incredible to me.
We got a lot
We
of
don't
history
have
here.
those in Utah. We have very, very, very few old houses in Utah. So seeing those and the fact that these houses are still standing today, like houses, churches, banks,
Been
hotels,
around for 300 years.
it's
It's
incredible
crazy.
to me. It's unbelievable. So like, yeah, just don't take it for granted. Like acknowledge what you have in the area.
At the very
Study
least, yeah.
up.
If you can't get out,
Yeah.
at
Study
least
up
dig
on
in.
what you
Right.
have.
Hell, go to a high pal and just take a fucking hike.
Right.
Just
Exactly.
enjoy
Yeah.
nature.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like it's an incredible area. Just get out there and go hiking. Just acknowledge the fact that Pennsylvania is an incredibly old state and it has a lot of history.
And if you do want to get out, realize that people are not as bad elsewhere than they
Yeah,
are here.
there
Oh
this
yeah.
area, and I mean, there's the few people, there's the good ones.
Yeah.
There's the good
there's the
ones.
good ones and then there's
But man, I mean, I've been all over the place as far as East Coast goes,
Mhm.
and it is that you go other places, man, and people are just so different. Like I meet people that they act the way our generation parents raised us to act.
Yeah.
Proper manners, hi ma'am, yes sir, like open the door for the ladies, like all the just check marks, all the I don't want to say southern hospitality because I see it in the north too, on the East Coast and shit everywhere I've been. It's just like the hospitality in general. Like motherfuckers genuinely give a fuck about each other. Like just as a
Yeah.
human being, I acknowledge that you're a living person.
right.
Yeah. And another point is too is like, and I learned this coming back because I had the question of like, we know how it is. We know how depressed people are around here. And it's like, how long can you exist here after getting away and maintain that same positive demeanor until it wears on you? The other thing that I noticed is that you kind of bring the attitude to set the stage for the mood of the room. And even coming here and standing up a little taller and smiling and saying hello and being polite to people. People here are generally pretty nice.
Yeah.
You know, some of them are. You know, you get into certain areas and cliques and stuff,
and then it's like, yo, why are you even talking to me?
yeah, I mean, shit, the amount of times I've almost gotten into fights or whatever, you look at somebody walking down the street. I mean, it is very much that kind of area in the wrong.
But all the people that are polite,
town.
all the people that are polite are like either it's half and half people our age, and then it's majority of them are people a little older than us,
and then
to like our parents' age. Yeah,
we're older.
Is around here is where you
kind of
find.
Dying,
yeah,
you know. But I think it's because people aren't trying to. And we're back on.
well, we always stay live.
stay
it
live.
just
Yeah, okay. So yeah, it's just you do really bring that attitude and can uplift people just by being that energy. You know,
literally, it doesn't take much. All you gotta do is just compliment somebody, just like simple little small things. In
fuck.
life
Say
will
hi
help
with a
you.
smile.
Yeah, literally, that's it.
it's
You
really
know,
that
how-
easy.
Oh my
but
god.
And
then
don't let
again,
their attitude affect how you feel
because
too.
you
Yeah.
might not get a response back, or they might look at you weird. But you know what? Just keep that positivity with yourself and keep going.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, I live by that because I worked at McDonald's for 2 years.
Oh God.
It was
I
an
hate
awful job. I
McDonald's.
was a manager there. It was stressful as fuck. But anyway, like I only had very short, like 30-second interactions with people,
Yeah.
but I made it a thing that every time I saw a person pull up to the window, I would immediately scan them, their car, what they were wearing, something, and I would find something to compliment them on.
Right,
And as
that's a
soon
good
as
thing
they
to do.
pulled up, I'd be like, "Oh my god, I love your hair, or I love your glasses, or your car is beautiful," And I would compliment them on something, and if they left the window with a smile on their face,
That makes
I
your day.
felt like I did my job.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what that person's going through. Like, for all you know, they just received the worst news of their life and they're trying to keep it together, and they need something positive, and it
Yeah.
will help them feel that much better.
that
Like,
same type.
you don't know what they're going through.
Yeah.
And like
have some empathy.
a compliment could just turn someone's day completely around. You
Yeah,
don't know. So I always just make a point to compliment everyone.
That's the same
And
type
I'm not
of
afraid
joy.
to do it.
I get that same type of joy and feeling from like helping people figure, like, bring things to fruition. You mean like that was the whole start of like some of the shit in the studio. You know,
Yeah.
people had these ideas. Like my boy wanted to start making custom rugs, and he is damn good at it, my man.
That's where this is.
Yeah, that was one
that
of
was
his.
the
That was one of his
prototypes.
prototypes. Like that was just
That's
him.
That's
Cool.
cool.
That
That's
was
cool.
literally him
Original.
first figuring out how to even work the gun, and it still came out decent.
That's
Like,
cool.
Yeah, that's
He's-
really good. Actually,
He's made. Hold on, because I'm pretty sure he
$10
brought one
rugs?
of them. I think
Huh?
he brought one of them
$10
back.
rugs.
I don't know.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know if it's here.
I thought I seen
Ooh.
that.
Ideas.
So,
Oh, is that gonna be? Oh, that's just canvas. All right. Oh, no shit.
Yeah,
Oh,
bro.
that's so cool.
Whoa.
Hell yeah.
that's why I said, like, this man,
He's figuring it out. Fuck
Right,
yeah, that looks
um,
great.
amazing with it, you know?
And you can only go up from there.
Yeah, he did
So-
the whole
That's
Charmander
really good.
line,
That's amazing.
Charmander, Charizard. He did the whole Gengar line. And yeah, he wanted to start doing rugs, and I was like, listen, bro, I'll help you build the canvas holder. And I'll let you do it here in the basement.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I think
So-
they use
I-
like kind of like
Yeah, it was like I was like, hey man, you want to do it? I'll help you build the shit.
Hell yeah.
You can do it down here. If by chance somewhere in the future it takes off incredibly, break me off a little bit for rent, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm not here to make money off of you.
Yeah.
You know what I
already
mean?
got the space.
Yeah,
You're
I want to
paying for it,
fucking
why not?
see you do something awesome, and you're creative. I have the space to acknowledge what you want to do and like provide for it.
What I think
Why
a
the
lot
fuck
of it
wouldn't I?
is, and I personally, I still struggle with this,
Like I wish I
where
had this place when we were all like
trying to
together and
make it
shit.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like nobody wants to pour out of their own cup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They feel
Yeah.
like if they give a compliment, if they do a favor, and especially as I understand the favors, especially as snaky as people can be and how advantageous they could be around here, it becomes a
Sure.
problem. But like nobody wants to give that compliment or make somebody else feel good because they think they're taking something from themselves.
Yeah.
They're taking the spotlight off of themselves or giving away something they're not going to get back
Yeah, that's why I
by
just
being
gave up.
kind.
I
You
gave
know,
up on that mentality. Well, not to say that I really ever had it, but like I always just decided, hell, if I'm being brutally honest, I'm not even supposed to be on this podcast as a whole.
yeah.
Like I always wanted to be the background guy. I don't want to be seen because I don't want any spotlight.
You
I
don't want
don't,
the
you know what I mean?
recognition.
I
It
don't
doesn't
need
matter
the
to you.
recognition. I don't need any of the compliments or anything. I'm just happy that I did something people enjoy.
You get it. See, that's the same reason that I enjoy doing hand work for these events or lighting design or sound or whatever. I tried being the rock star. I can't do it. I don't have the personality for it. I'm just, and it's very, very stressful to feel like you need to be something for
Yeah.
somebody else.
Oh,
Okay.
it's
But
hell.
I absolutely love, and it's the same philosophies that drew me into cooking. I love being the one that makes it happen, though.
Yeah.
I don't have to make all the money, but to be able to say, "Hey, I did that." Like, dude, we set up for the NBA All-Star game in Utah. Like, we got to be a part of that, and it's so fucking cool. It's like I'm not even a sports fan, and I want to tune in and watch this
Yeah,
just
it's
to
just
see how people are enjoying it and what we
what
played a
your
role in. Like,
reception was on what you
yeah,
put your hard work into.
exactly. Like because I even struggle with like living in the moment and being there. Like I'll go to concerts and I'll enjoy them and stuff, but sometimes I would rather live vicariously through somebody else, which it sounds like what you
Yeah.
love doing too, where you just want to be what helps them get there or make the show happen and be able to watch, you know, the audience or whatever your target audience technically is
Perfect
enjoying themselves.
perfect example, and it just happened recently. One of my buddies, his son was he ended up getting a gig DJing a school dance. I was like, bro, come through. I got a full PA system set up.
Come practice.
No,
Now
no,
you just let them.
take it.
Yeah.
Take it. I want him to have a good show. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna go to the school, bring his equipment. He's gonna look to some extent professional. You know what I mean, this kid, and he rocked the fucking play. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
yeah.
He rocked the fucking dance, and it was awesome, and he enjoyed it. And now he has a newfound passion that he wants to start DJing and shit.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and
That's
it's
dope
just,
as hell.
and I did it with no intention. Like I did it because I just wanted to help his son. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like dude's gonna be DJing a play, and I'm gonna be able to provide him with the shit to. He now found a passion in it. You know the fuck yeah. And now I appreciate him for this, but like he hooked us up also for the thank you, but like I wasn't in it for that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Whenever he came and returned my equipment and he's talking to me about, yeah, man, like listen, I'm gonna do this for you. Just get in touch. And I'm like, bro, I didn't like I greatly appreciate you and I'll take you up on that offer, but like that's not why I did it. You know, like
You did it because you
your
wanted
son
to
had
see
a
someone
smile
else
on
be
his fucking face that
successful.
night and he felt like the man. You know what I mean?
That's
Imagine being 15 and I mean it's kind of funny because if you had that like if you decided to DJ a school dance with who your dad is and his
Yeah,
equipment you would have been able to.
pretty well made there.
Yeah, but like imagine your dad not
having
being
nothing, yeah,
into
and somebody stepping
that
up
kind of stuff
for sure,
and just
be on
being
top
like
of the world.
you're going to go DJ this school dance and you got all this fucking equipment. Like, you know, you're walking in like fuck yeah, this is what I do. Like
Very
your very
inspiring,
first
yeah.
gig is already it's not just me with this boombox hoping that everybody can hear it, or we got to play it through a microphone over the PA.
Like you're
Or
DJing.
yeah, like you're actually getting that chance.
You're
And I
running
wanted
it.
to send him. I wanted to send him with my live show equipment, like the whole subs, everything. I wanted to so bad, but it just in order to fucking move it all,
Yeah,
you know what I
it's a
mean? For
lot.
him, it would have been a little bit rough. So yeah, I gave him just the two simple ones that I have with the little PA front, and
Nice.
he had a good time.
Good. That's awesome, man.
It was like I greatly enjoyed this conversation, and next time you guys are in, we need to have another sit down. I need to hear updates on what you figured out.
Oh yes.
You even mentioned it. We can do another interview once you find enough information out to where you feel like you want to do an update. If by then you didn't decide to do your own podcast,
Yeah.
we can do it remotely. All you
Perfect.
need is a
Okay.
webcam. I can send you the fucking link to the room on here.
Okay.
You'll
You can
join in
join in.
remotely with your webcam and mic, and we can
Perfect.
do it like that.
Oh,
I
that'd
would
be
love to
awesome.
keep up with this because I know not only has it opened my eyes on a lot of this and how what is perceived is nowhere near what's really going on in the background, but I imagine as this gets out more and more and people are watching this more, you're gonna have a lot of followers. You're gonna have a lot of people that want to hear more about the story
Oh yeah.
and want to know. We have no idea where this is gonna go. You know what I mean? As of right now, um, you might figure out, like you said, there's a lot of things that you don't know, and you might figure out some shit that is a whole game changer on what you're thinking and what you're seeing right now. So I really, really want to stay updated as possible, and I imagine everybody else is
Definitely.
going to. Um, is there anything else you guys would like
Um,
to let the people know before we head off?
I mean, I think we said most of it. I'd like to plug the business one more time. If you're out there and
Oh, most
you're,
definitely, you do
yeah,
that.
you got to do that.
Take the opportunity.
Yeah, so yeah,
Seize
if you're
it.
out there and you're looking for any like small scale lighting design or anything, I've got pretty affordable rates. If you're in, happen to be tuning in or know anybody in the Salt Lake area that's looking for sound and lighting for venues or whatever, operating, programming, I've got the gear to do it. Look up Big Stage is one word, Big Stage Karaoke and Lighting Design on Facebook and give us a follow. And I'm hoping here soon, once I can, things kind of level out, I might start some tutorial things and start throwing some videos together,
Oh yeah.
and maybe even doing some drum covers or vocal covers with some lighting design involved to kind of highlight my skills and stuff. So again, Big Stage Karaoke and Lighting Design.
Yeah, you
And
guys do me a favor. Go check that out. Like it, follow it, let your people know about it.
yeah, and then do you want to tell them more about holding out help and wrap that up and give them a reminder about that and
Yeah,
what
let
they
me
do?
go back up there. It is.
Yeah, so Holding Out Help, an organization that helps polygamous men and women, and I am positive anyone else who needs any other kind of help. Um, just help them get back up on their feet, help them get housing, gives them a complete makeover if they need it, helps them get their diploma of whatever it is they need, a job, just whatever they need to get back on their feet. Incredible organization. Their website is holdingouthelp.org. Go check them out, please. Just do your research. Go and donate if possible. It would be greatly appreciated. And just do what you can to be informed on all of the different cultures, because there is always something that you're not seeing. There's always another side to it. And there are always people that need help.
I'm very thankful that A, your mom got the help that she needed to get you guys out of that situation, and B, that you were able to come on here and shed some light for the people that didn't know. And hopefully I don't want to necessarily say change people's minds because I know a lot of people probably aren't out
Kind of
there like,
enlighten them,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, enlighten
gave you
them.
guys a little bit more in-depth info on what's really going on. Make sure you guys tune in Friday for Marley's State of Mind. He got our guy Franchise coming on. And we'll catch you guys next Wednesday on. Oh, actually, what the fuck? No, I'm way off. See,
Yeah,
I'm
see?
used to a Wednesday show. It's
Oh,
Tuesday.
Yeah.
nice.
Hot damn.
We'll
Tune in
catch you tomorrow.
tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow. We got a episode of Bullshitting with Jesse and the Bunch again, where we're gonna be talking to our guy Ellis from Pittsburgh, and then Friday we got Marley's State of Mind. We'll catch you guys later.
Yeah, thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Eric.
Oh,
Thank
most
you.
definitely. I appreciate you
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
coming on.